Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV, wherever you may be. We are glad you're tuned in and plugged in on this particular Saturday morning, the 17th day of August, the year 2024, as we're getting it closer and closer to the start of high school football. Yes, I'm the guy wearing the Arizona emblem, rooting for the D-backs, who took a tough L on Friday night, but they're still rocking and rolling. He is the coach, Ed Young, wearing his New York Yankees paraphernalia, but he's not quite in the same location as I am, as you can tell from his background and my background, as I'm getting ready to do the 12 o'clock Sports Center. He's, on the other hand, doing I'm not sure what he's doing, maybe the cha-cha later, I'm not sure. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. I am from parts unknown.
Ain't that the truth?
My background is real. Yours is super sci-fi freaky-ish.
Whoa. My background is real.
Okay.
My background is real.
Where's the trap door?
Your background is checkered. Your background is checkered.
No, this is real. This is the real.
No. Oh, I'm talking about backgrounds. We do background checks on this show.
I will pass with flying colors.
I'm not sure about that.
That I can guarantee.
That's up for debate. That is up for debate.
Hey, by the way,
good thing.
Happy belated birthday for those who don't know.
Appreciate that.
This guy here.
Good morning,
Woodrow. Celebrated birthday number, who the hell knows, but he celebrated
92
well into the night. And
it was into the night, all right.
Make sure, if you haven't, send presents his way, because he'll cry forever. I got him the same thing I got him last year. I'm consistent. One thing is, I'm very consistent. So, but he celebrated, and those that missed it, give him a shout out. But more importantly, because he won't say it, he wants money, needs money, and money always works.
Life is not about money. Money cannot buy happiness.
Try not having it and see what happens. Yeah, trust me. This retirement, I don't want to go off, because if you want to rant,
if you were more frugal and saved your money and stopped going on all these luxurious vacations that you go on.
I wish it was. Oh my God, I wish I did luxurious vacations. Let me just say this. People, don't rush to retirement, because the government would rather you be dead. And dealing with Social Security and the Virginia retirement system, I have a better chance of talking to Jesus at length than those people and them doing what the heck is supposed to be done. And I'm just beginning this retirement business thing. I'm not even deep into it, if I can even make it. So, and again, that's from the teaching side. But it is, in all seriousness, a joke. Social Security situation in this country is an absolute joke. And the comment I made, the government would rather have you dead, trust me, is real, because they don't have to worry about getting you the money on time or money period, whatever. But, and I'm saying all this in a calm way, because it would not take much for me to snap on the rant of ages on retirement. But that's for another time.
Do you think our audience really cares, to be honest with you?
No, because I don't know if our audience is close to retirement. It's probably more
No.
younger dudes like you. And I'm telling you, that's the mistake young people make.
Oh,
Save your money, put some away every time, because the government's going to take
hold
it.
on. Is it us young people, or is it some of us older people with the name Young that didn't do that? Let's
I did not put money away when I was younger. Absolutely.
So this is a you problem, not a us problem. You're trying to make a you problem an us problem. Or
how much money do you take out of your checks when you get a check and put it aside in the savings account and say, I'm not touching it?
I do it every day. Every day.
So you make big checks because you got money coming in from all avenues, and Big Money Mike is what we'd have to call you. Big
Money Mike?
Big Money Matt.
My name is MH today. I don't even have the full display name. Actually, we do now. But
you were messing up with some of the gadgets I can see this morning. I really don't say much, because if he left it up to me,
we'd only be on in Tokyo, and that'd be it.
Tokyo, Thailand, wherever, Ukraine.
Paris. In France. Hey, speaking of Paris, France, the Olympics just wrapped up last week. And did you watch the closing ceremonies? And what was before we get to, and don't worry, folks, we have tons of high school football content, interviews for you to peruse. A couple of interviews coming up. We've got Coach Boyd of Grafton, Coach Williams of Booker T. Washington on deck. But we've also caught up with some coaches at scrimmages here recently. We caught up with Lauren Johnson of Highland Springs, Anthony Jofrion of Kings Fork. If you don't hear them today, you'll hear them next week. For sure. We've got just tons and tons of coaches coming your way. You're going to hear from, in addition to them, Brandon Williams of Green Run, James Yeager of Ocean Lakes, a couple of Ocean Lakes Dolphins standouts in Noah Colon and Devin McGill. Rashad Cook caught up with our man Jack Lowe, he of Western Branch, Elliott Duty of Poquoson, just a smattering, Edward, of coaches galore that will be on with us today and next week, as we give you more of an in-depth preview with our predictions next week on the 24th. On the program. And I believe you said we've got Tim Kirchin, who's scheduled to join us as well next week. Potentially, you put your finger up. That may mean not so fast, my friend. Lee Corson.
No. Tim Kirchin, I still have it on the phone, said he will be more than likely available for next week. He thought I said, come on this Saturday today. Okay. And I said, no. I said, Tim, whenever you're available, because we know you're busy.
He probably was available today, and you just turned him down like a knucklehead, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now we can turn down some of the big timers. But he said next Saturday, I just got to get with him during the week and kind of lock down a time, and we'll do some Major League Baseball update at that time with Mr. Kirchin.
Okay. Fair enough. But a lot going on here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe again to our YouTube channel, where you can get it on each and every Saturday. And but go back to for the moment, I wanted to hit one with you with the Olympics. You watched the closing ceremony. You watched, I'm sure, the basketball. The men's and women's teams had some nail-biting finishes against both against France. The women, much more surprisingly, because that was not expected, than, say, the guys led by Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and company. But what was your reaction to both of those games? And I'm sure you were into other events as the Olympics finished up. We obviously saluted Grant Holloway last week. He got Olympic gold last Thursday. So that's 10 days ago, 8 days ago, 9 days ago, something like that. And then the track and field's always interesting. People also get into the tennis and the golf, but I'll be honest with you, the tennis and the golf and even the basketball to an extent, I don't view them as like pure Olympic type sports. I think of more other things than those events. You think more in terms of my brain with Olympics, I think of the track and field and the swimming first and foremost. How about you?
Basketball, top of the list, but I'm prejudiced. It's definitely for Olympic sport. Track and field, swimming, gymnastics. Please find out who we can take breakdancing out of the Olympics. Or if we're going to do breakdancing in the Olympics, please get real live breakdancing type people, which is mostly the kids.
So you're bothered. Are you bothered by the breakdancing?
I will not
detect some discouragement in your voice.
The Australian lady who acted like a broom on the floor was abominable.
Broom? Wow.
She acted like a broom. It was an absolute abominable disaster to breakdancing. Wow. But I don't think overall breakdancing belongs in the Olympics. If you want to do it as a entertainment in the opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, and have different countries throw their best breakdancer out there, that's fine. I've said it before. How can that be in the Olympics? And baseball, which most countries have, isn't. Though I think somebody said it's coming back the next time. That definitely should be in there. Did we have volleyball this year?
I did not watch much of the.
I know we have beach volleyball, which I like.
Yeah. I know we had 3-on-3 basketball. We did
that's another
volleyball because the women of the U.S. lost 3-0 to Italy and Brazil. That was the gold medal match. And Brazil won the bronze over Turkey, whereas on the men's side, it was France beating Poland, and the U.S. got the bronze by beating Italy. So, but I didn't watch much of that. I actually liked the handball a little bit. That was cool to me.
Handball's good. Pickleball's good. I don't even know if they have pickleball in it, but they need to.
Yeah.
The 3-on-3 basketball. Let me just say this, U.S. Olympic Committee and FIBA screwed it up big time. I heard the inside gig on what happened with 3-on-3. Nah, James, I don't know. My breakdancing days are – I can break stuff, which would be my bones. But back in the day now, I could go. Yeah, they call me the plain white rapper.
There's some footage that I've gone through the lengths of capturing from some people out there in the audience that have secretly taped you in a local establishment that we might use against you and against your will at any particular time.
No, I don't have nothing to hide on the dance floor. I got a few moves on the dance floor to stay in my lane.
You can't hide it because when I have it, there's nothing to hide. Just remember that. Remember that, Edward. When you think you can hide something from me, you never can hide anything from Matt Hatfield.
Yeah. You're the type with the camera like TMZ dudes. You'll be in the little corner spying on people and getting ready to blackmail them as necessary.
And that goes to all of our audience out there, but in particular, my co-host. When you think you can hide something from me, just remember it always comes back.
Like I said, I have nothing to hide. I am an open book.
Okay.
But you will not see video of me in my breakdancing days because that was before camera and film. So you won't see that. But I was on the ground doing some spinnings, head spins, one arm on the ground and going around on that. But I don't think that's anywhere to be found. But 3-on-3 basketball.
We didn't do well. My dad, my father, who we'll get him back on for Fact or Fiction come Christmas time, maybe state championship time, when he and I decided to go to his alma mater, JMU, for the Class 6 and Class 5 finals, I imagine, or Father's Day when he beats you for like the 15th consecutive time come 2025 in our Fact or Fiction game. But he was very disturbed, bothered, upset, fill in whatever adjective you like about our 3-on-3. And I heard Stephen A. Smith and I don't watch Stephen A. Smith, so I'm put out there because I know you're not a big Stephen A. fan. For all the talking heads, the Stephen A's, the Skips, we like Mad Dog a little bit. But
he's a joke. I love Mad Dog. Stephen A's a joke.
Anyhow, nonetheless, he was upset about it. I saw flipping the shelves the other day too, just trying to find what my IFC from my night court marathon on Monday and Tuesday. But 3-on-3, we should be better than that, right? We can't get three guys and 3-on-3.
Again, it's Ice Cube needs to handle 3-on-3. He's perfect out. He has his 3-on-3 basketball. The big
not Ice T, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. Get your ices right.
All right. Ice T is the one that's on my show, Law and Order, right?
Ice T's on, but that's not what Ice T's known for, Law and Order.
Well, you drink it too. Well, no, Ice T's known for other things too. But wait. Don't diminish the longest running drama on TV and best television show on TV with my gal, Mariska Hargitay, a.k.a. Olivia Benson. Don't do that because you do that, you're going down a bad place, sir.
I won't diminish.
I know he had a career before the acting. I understand that musically, and he's known for. I understand that, but today,
forget his music. He's better on your show than it was music. What he's known for is his wife, Coco. And if those that know. Those that don't, you better find out.
Well, his wife's not on TV. He's on TV.
If his wife was on TV, the ratings would be through the roof.
Well, the ratings are already great. It's already the best show on TV. So what do you need his wife for? Because I'm not Coco. I don't even know Coco.
Oh, I was learned a long time ago. Don't argue when you're right, and don't argue with ignorance. So I will not do either one of those right now.
You're calling me ignorant. Okay.
No, I said with ignorance. I didn't call you ignorant.
Right.
But if you look, I will let you at a later time look up Coco, Ice-T's wife, and then we'll leave it.
Cocoa. I just Googled cocoa.
Cocoa.
Forms of the cocoa bean during production. The cocoa bean, also known as simply cocoa or cacao, is the dried and fully fermented seed of the Theobroma cocoa, the cocoa tree, from which the cocoa solids and cocoa butter can be extracted. and the trees are native to the Amazon rainforest. There you go. Didn't come up when I Googled her. Sorry.
Okay, let's get more defined to help you out.
Now, when I Google iced tea, his picture comes up in addition to a picture of the drink that you can have.
Okay.
And I see his 8-year-old daughter, Chanel, visited the SVU set. So
I Google iced tea's wife, Coco, and we'll just leave it at that.
Well, it sounds like you've already done that. You don't have to do it.
No, I have not. I don't have to Google her because I've seen her before enough times.
Apparently so.
Model.
Yeah, people are laughing their heads off right now. We've literally gotten 3 laugh emojis just off you talking about Coco.
And them, see, they know. They know.
How did we go from the Olympics to Coco? I have no earthly idea.
Oh, we're doing the 3-on-3. You went from Ice Cube to Ice Tea to Ice.
By the way, Ice Cube does that with someone from 757, Nancy Lieberman. It's been very much involved.
This is why I've got to learn you. You understand, Ice Cube sent a letter to, I think it was the Netherlands, won the 3-on-3, stating he would like to have the Olympic team come over and face I don't know if it's an all-star 3-on-3 or the top 3-on-3 team, or into a tournament with our 3-on-3. FIBA jumped in and said no, because the request has to come within, if I get this right, 30 days or 10 days. And the letter came within that period, outside that period.
Really? So
FIBA said no. But I also found out FIBA runs 3-on-3 basketball. I guess there's a leagues overseas. So they regulate 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics, but they control the 3-on-3 league overseas. They don't control here in the United States. So they nixed it. They said no. Netherlands wants to do it, but they're not allowed because they'll face harsh repercussions if they do, because it was stated in the letter. They showed a letter. I think it was on a Steve McAfee show. I think he had
Steve McAfee or Pat McAfee?
And Pat McAfee. Steve.
Okay. Steve might be his brother. Okay.
No, it's a former player of mine. Steve McAfee's a former player.
Oh, okay.
Just remembered that.
He has a show then. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And they put the letter up from FIBA, and it says at the bottom, any participation will constitute harsh ramifications or whatever. So like threaten them if they did it. So it's a joke. 3-on-3. And I think even though we don't have a 3-on-3 quote women's league, which I think Ice Cube could probably go ahead and start and be ready for the next Olympics, put it in his hands. It will be well run. There's no reason in 3-on-3 basketball we should look like the jokes that we were in the Olympics. Women did a little bit better, obviously, and I'm not saying you'd have to have pros. Everybody says we got to go get the pros. 3-on-3 basketball is different. Rules are slightly different. It's a little different type game. I'm not sure NBA guys would adapt to it as well. I would go for a 3-on-3, the big three. Take the best out of the big three or the championship team.
You know, there was talk about Caitlin Clark being in that. Remember? And by the way, she's playing quite well. WNBA, Indiana Fever got the W last night. Would she have like a triple-double? She's been tearing it up.
The Olympics made me forget about the WNBA because they took a 25-day break. And then they came back last night.
And how rough would it have been if it wasn't for just the step-up play of a number of performers? I was actually texting with Delisha Milton-Jones, our women's basketball coach at Old Dominion, which I've been privileged the last 3 years to call her games on the radio side of things on the ODU Sports Radio Network. She was on the Olympic committee that picked a team, and they took a lot of criticism, not having Clark, not having Angel Reese, not having others on that team, Arike Ngumbawale. But I tell you what a job. What's that?
That was easy for you to say.
Yeah, you can't spell it. And I didn't sneeze there.
Say it.
Yeah. But I tell you what, great job defensively by Brianna Stewart on the perimeter and Asia Wilson inside, who didn't have her best shooting game and touch early on. But my goodness, as big those free throws went down. And Copper just only enhanced her already great legacy. I tell you what, the women's game was equally exciting as the men's. And we actually have one of our mailbag questions later on in the show that we'll touch on, actually throw it our way in regards to the Olympics and what we thought on that front. But yeah, it was good drama. I thought overall, and the track, obviously there's some great storylines from it. I felt it was a solid, and you know what I actually enjoyed, I wouldn't say the most, but as a broadcasting person, I don't know if you got a chance to catch it last Sunday before the closing ceremony, is Mike Tirico sat down with both Al Michaels and Bob Costas as he had some broadcasting royalty, kind of put a big, closing summary, a big capsule, if you will, on what they saw and the experience, more as fans this time in the case of Costas and Michaels and Tirico, who now kind of anchors the coverage there for them. But I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool to have that there last Sunday, and Olympics in the books. And we might effort getting on. I thought about getting our pal Chuck Culpepper, Washington Post, who was there. A couple other people I know that were there, but we might effort that. Right now is a lot of football talk to get to, and we're going to take a timeout unless you have anything else to add here before we take our first break and hear from you.
We got to effort with the right sources. We got to effort Grant Holloway.
You do. When he's back. I'm sure he's going to get honored at Grassfield High School. I saw a couple of TV stations over there. They had a big viewing party over there. Good pals with Rod Johnson, my former Virginia Preps colleague, who's an assistant football coach with Joe Jones and the Grizzlies over there. He was telling me about it. People all giddy. I saw Leroy Harper, track coach, brother of Isaiah Harper, who started Old Dominion. He was in tears over it, and I know he's very tight with Gray. I was just over there about 2 months ago when they had the Patrick Jones camp. Patrick now with the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, and pretty cool time for that school. You see Jones playing in the NFL, and you see Holloway on the grand stage getting Olympic gold. That was so neat for the 757, and to do it the way he did it after being so close 4 years ago. I guess it was 3 years ago, technically, the last Olympic go round. Right. Pretty special.
Absolutely tremendous. Watching most of the Olympic track events is just great drama. But the men's relay team, when they messed up the baton handoff, once again, frustration.
Bothered you?
We're too talented and too good to be making mess. And I don't run relays. I don't baton.
Thank God you don't run relays. We might have to call the paramedics if you ran a relay.
Well, 50 years ago and probably 159 pounds ago, I could run. But now
I never get that. You make your kids, and I know one of them out there has been watching on IG, our man on IG, Cool Dre 21. You know who that is? Your guy who's still playing pro ball, doing it up big, Andre Jones from your 2004 through 2008 Warriors teams of Nance River. I wish we could put the IG post up there. He said, "My guys this morning," but I would love to get his take, and Nick Wright and all those guys that played for you. Why you make them run all these miles and are so demanding in running, and you don't run an inch. You're so.
No, I run more than an inch, but the problem is at my age, my weight. The more I run, I would not be the leader that I can be for my young men to instill in them that what is needed to become among the best. And if I have a heart attack, who would lead them?
No, we don't want you to have a heart attack, but I think you're phony. That's all.
No, it's just my days of running. Back in the day, I could go. I remember racing people on a track somewhere, and I never wore shoes.
I think you could go. Why would you not wear shoes when you run?
I don't know. I like the feel of the track, especially the rubberized track, on my feet.
What if it's like 97 degrees outside? And by the way, the weather here in Virginia, I know
that's probably made me run fast.
It was awesome. It's been awesome the last week. It's been in the 80s. Perfect weather. I'm going to take a dip in the pool later, which I know you love.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus. Here we go with the pool antics. The Fool. You ought to get a sponsor, the Fool in the Pool.
We'll take that sponsor. Anything that keeps us,
somebody out there.
Anything that keeps us afloat. Did you see what I did there?
Right. A public service announcement. People, everybody out there, I know you all know people. You know somebody that knows somebody. We need a sponsor, an aquatic type sponsor would be the best for the pool in the pool segment with Hatfield. It would go international. It would be good. We just have to keep the kiddies and the women away because it would do detrimental harm to them. But let him do his thing in the pool. But wrap up real quick on the Olympics. Men, get yourself together. Women are always an absolute treat to watch, more ways than one. And basketball, the women's basketball game. How about the girl who shot that? I didn't realize it because I didn't see the game live, traveling. But they didn't know it would be a 2 or 3 pointer, but it's clearly a 2-pointer. Had she hit that, they would have won by 1, right? Or would have went into overtime?
They would have won by 1. No. It would have been tied. I'm sorry. The young lady who hit the shot, I know you're talking about. She was spectacular in the game. You're talking about Gabby Williams.
She's WNBA, isn't she?
Her foot was inside the 3-point line.
She WNBA?
Who's that?
Gabby Williams. She in the WNBA?
Yes, she is in the WNBA.
Okay.
Most everybody's in the WNBA.
Some great things. And by the way, I think I've said this before. It's no what I want to say, tragedy that Clark and Reese weren't picked. We're
They'll
okay
get
with
their
how
next go around. That's what I was getting to with not to cut you off, but getting to with Delisha Milton-Jones and the job that the committee did. I know Dawn Staley gets tons of face time as she should, spearheading the effort. She coached the team the last go around. This time it was Coach Ray from the Lynx. But look, they're going to be there next go around. We don't make this big a deal with men's players that are rookies. Like, well, Wembanyama's not with our country, but Cheryl Reeve, by the way, and company would have been under the griddle if they lose this. Oh my gosh, what a bad job! And people were ready to just unleash on them. And look, that team was fine. They didn't play a great game. They muscled and mustered up the energy, down 10 in the third quarter to rally and get the W against it was a splendid performance from Gabby. But they got it done. And the women's now have won 60 plus. Their streak is impeccable right now.
Yeah. And first of all, those two young ladies, the way the WNBA is set up, you go right from college play right into the WNBA.
They'll be there in 4 years. What are we talking about?
They needed the rest, number one, but that's not the main reason. They had better people out there. Everybody's on to Caitlin.
More seasoned. I don't know if necessarily better. And I would just say this: look, they're going to be their next go around. It wasn't going to be the difference in us winning or losing. That's for sure. I mean,
like Diana Taurasi, she'll probably be gone. Caitlin Clark is perfect replacement. A very similar style player at that early age. Yeah. So the problem with all this is, and we've said it on this show before, it's the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese from college days, the rivalry for all kind of reasons why, some positive, some negative. And those people are jumping on the bandwagon to move them on. Now they're playing great. Everybody says it's going to come down to rookie of the year. It's going to be one of them too. And they are playing great, but people, our American women are okay. I didn't agree with the coaching selection, but that's a whole nother story too.
You're not a Cheryl Reeve fan?
No, I think we could have done, I don't want to say better because the young lady is a pro coach. She's very good.
She's won championships.
Why? My question would be off the top of my head to show my ignorance. Why was Dawn Staley not continuing?
She did it last go round. Sometimes it's I don't know if there's an eligible. You're allowed to do it two go rounds or not. Krzyzewski didn't do it both times. I thought I had more issues with Steve Kerr's coaching than I did hers, to be honest with you. Although the gold medal game, you wondered a little bit with some of how they were performing, but.
Yeah, Steve Kerr
against Serbia in the semifinals, third quarter. What are you doing with your rotations? Jason Tatum's the best player on the best team in the league, and he doesn't sniff the floor.
That kind of
expressed, yeah,
that right there was mind blowing. And there was a game, I think it was because of maybe rest. Durant didn't play, and then when he finally did play, of course he went off. But Tatum not playing, that's a hard one to explain. You can't say, "Oh, geez, we got a lot of good players." Yes. But you got to know your people. You got to know your rotations. Those guys aren't used to being bench players. So you're going to have to play them and give them their just desserts out there playing and not to play at all. And the only reason is, I guess I forgot about him because he wasn't disciplined. There's no reason to discipline him. He wasn't hurt. So that was tough. And I know Tatum was not happy when he even made a statement that the Celtics would beat this year's Olympic team. Jason, please.
Yeah. I can't take that or Carmelo's about the goals are better than winning the championship. That's a little
You know what? That one, I understand what he's saying.
Don't say it. That's one of those, as George Bush at that time, an inside word popped out. Keep that inside. Don't say that out loud.
Right. The NBA championship is a bigger deal. Winning Olympic gold is fantastic. Now, if you want to say importance, it's easier to try to keep that argument and say importance, but it's not a bigger deal than NBA title. That's what those guys play for, period. And if you jump down into the college ranks, back in the day, we used to have all college kids. You ask a college kid, would you rather win an Olympic gold or an NCAA championship? NCAA championship, going to come out of all their mouths. But Olympic gold is big. It is important, especially for our country. But yeah, Tatum, that was when Tatum said about beating the Olympic team, no. And Carmelo, was it Perkins that said the only reason he said that is because he never won NBA titles.
Yeah.
So it's easy for him to say that.
Yeah. We are long overdue for a break. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back with Mason Williams, head football coach, the Bookers of Booker T. Washington. That's coming your way right here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on the 17th day of August. Stay tuned. Now let's hear from Town Bank, CHKD, and others right here.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people. not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we welcome you to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Back here on the program, we have a special guest with us. He's new head football coach of the Mighty Bookers of Booker T. Washington High School in Norfolk, as they are getting ready for the 2024 campaign. It's pretty much here as we're counting on the days to the kickoff here. And we say hello to Coach Mason Williams here on the show. Coach, how's the summer been for you as you're now the new head football coach? So we also say congratulations to you.
I appreciate that, Mr. Hatfield, Coach Young. Right now, it's just really now setting in, coming in at this time of the year, not really having an off season is definitely presenting its challenges, but it's nothing that I can't handle. I'm just excited to be back home, in the great city of Norfolk, Virginia, and just bring my talents back home.
Well, you say back home, so let's get into that first here, and I'm sure Coach Young will follow up with some questions about you from the philosophical standpoint, vision for the program, this year's team, and we'll hit on the names offensively, defensively we should watch out for. But let's dive into you, where you played, because I understand you are a Norfolk native, played in the Eastern District, but you've also coached in the Southeastern District here recently as an assistant. So give the mini biography to the audience, the fans out there that don't know a whole lot about Mason Williams, and fill them in if you can.
All right. So as you all may know, my name is Mason Williams. I'm a product of Norfolk, Virginia, born and raised. I graduated from Norview High School in 2005. At Norview, I was a 3-year varsity starter for the football team. Went on to Virginia State, graduated from Virginia State, and landed my first coaching job in Suffolk, Virginia, Whitney Kings Fort Bulldogs. Started some great things there. We were able to, just bring some stability to that program and a championship mindset out there in Suffolk. I was also given the opportunity as an offensive coordinator at Nasmith River in Suffolk, where we made a run at the 5B regional championship. And now I'm home, just bringing home a wealth of knowledge, energy, just in an attempt to revitalize Booker T.
And as we know from many sports, Booker T's had some fine athletes over the years. You think of Bruce Smith, the all-time sack leader in football. We saw Michael Evans dazzle in basketball. They won a state championship in 2006 in hoops, and some other guys here in recent years. The Lafayette Smallwoods, the Dante Truck Caperses, the Jamil Hummer Lawsons have been some standouts as Coach Williams tries to get the Bookers back on the right path here, Ed.
Well, yeah, Mason, again, I echo too. Congrats on your first head coach. And obviously in the city where you made your name as a player. Now you come into your first head job, and you're still young. I know you've had some decent assistant positioning. What maybe were or still are three things that you felt, okay, this is what has to happen for me as I take over this job. I've been told it's your job. What were maybe three things that you went to take care of?
Initially my mindset was to stop the bleeding. Keep the talent. The kids that are here, that was my initial mindset upon taking the job, was to keep the kids that are here. As we all know, anybody that's been in the Eastern District or spent any time in Norfolk, Virginia, we know that Booker T is a hotbed for talent. So initially that was my main thought, stop the bleeding. Bring a new era, a new mindset to the program, and just establishing a rapport with the kids and community members.
Ed?
Now what about staff? Do you have your full staff in place?
Yes, sir. I was fortunate to bring 6 coaches on board with me, and we're just going to attack each day. We're not looking for sympathy or any excuses. We as a staff, we understand the assignment, and that's the beauty in it all. You just come to work every day. We'll get 1% better. We'll fill out the roster and things once school is open. I have 5 coaches working with me in the building, so myself included will be 6. So we'll have individuals in the building that will help us, recruit the hallways and things of that nature. So the assignment is understood. It's talent here now. It's just a matter of just harvesting and coaching the talent up.
I know it's probably difficult for you to give us a depth chart or in-depth breakdown of every unit on your squad, but be honest, there's probably got to be a couple of names that have either stuck out for you the first few days of practice here, watching some film on Huddle, just seeing them as you took this job and have begun this process that we should watch out for. Any names sticking out that maybe are going to be some Bookers making some plays on Friday nights this year that are going to turn some heads in the Eastern District and beyond? How about any division possible standouts for you?
Oh yeah, yes sir. We have a couple, man. We have a solid group of seniors, man. Christian Bratton, Johnny Inez, Amani Samuels. We have DJ Curtis. We have a Kelvin Battle. He's a young guy. He's gonna burst onto the scene this year. So those are just to name a few guys that we have who have displayed, just good flashes since we've been out here in camp.
And of those names, where do you think you might have the chance to be strongest at as far as on the field? Is there a specific area?
Definitely skill, man. We're skill heavy. We got guys who can run, guys who can jump. We got bigger skill. Definitely on the outside, man. We should be able to compete on the outside as the season progresses and the kids become familiar with the defensive and offensive schemes. We're going to simplify some things to just get them playing fast. Again, no excuse, but as coaches, you learn how to adapt, and right now, time is not our friend. So the best thing we can do right now is to simplify the game into simplest forms and just put our athletes in position to be successful.
He's a former player at Norview High School in Norfolk, coached at Kings Fork and Nance River and Suffolk as an assistant. Now the new head football coach of the Bookers, Booker T. Washington High School in Norfolk. Mason Williams, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you may be tuning in, whether it be Virginia Preps, Facebook, IG, Twitter, or X, Apple, Spotify. Here are our guests as the Bookers get ready to kick it off August 29th at Petersburg, Ed.
Yeah, Mason, and listening to you, and again, and knowing that you played at Norview, coached at Kings Fork and Nansemond River, two very good programs in the Southeastern District. Now you're getting your first opportunity to coach in the Eastern District, which we know is loaded with talent. I mean, Maury is a state championship level team without question. Lake Taylor's already proven that same thing. How do you look at both of those districts? Is there when you compare them in terms of strength, weakness, similarities? Eastern District, Southeastern District.
Well, to me, to be honest, it's no place like home. So, the Eastern District, to me, man, it just embodies, the city of Norfolk. Kids are playing, for an opportunity to, change their lives for the better. A lot of kids in the city of Norfolk, don't have an outside of athletics. So the athletics are extremely competitive. So if I had to pick, I'm a Norfolk guy, man. I got to roll with the Eastern District, Coach Young.
I get you on that. I would expect that, being that that's where you're from and where you played. I'm sure now when you put in your philosophy together, and I know a lot of guys don't want to talk about. We talk with guys that have wing T, spread, triple option, power I. What is Mason Williams? I know, and a lot of it has to do with what's in front of you. Like in basketball, I could say, yeah, we're going to run up and down, we're going to press all over the place, and then you realize you don't have Kentucky Derby horses, you got Clydesdales, and that ain't going to work. Right. What do you like to do in general, both sides of the ball?
Spread guy. Not to give up too much, but I like to put my athletes in space. I like to open the field up. Give my guys the opportunity for one-on-ones. So, I think we'll be fine up front. We'll get better as the season progresses. Defensively, like I said, we just going to simplify it on defense so our kids can play fast. And I just think you'll see us growing as the year goes.
3 minutes in with Mason Williams, our guest here, the Booker T. Booker's new head football coach. It's Cova Sports TV, 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Go ahead, Ed.
No, I was going to follow up on this one. Was you had mentioned earlier about you feel real good about skill, the so-called skilled players, and everybody knows that line is important. Yeah. Now, once school starts, you're talking about more people coming out. How do you assess your line right now? Is it you've got to work some magic with putting some people there, or just young talent?
I have a solid 5, and I just leave it there. I have a solid 5, young, but we'll coach them up, and they'll be ready.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're a former lineman yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you double at Norview, O-line, D-line, or were you just a one-way guy?
Yes, sir. I was all region, offensive line and defensive line in my team at Norview.
All right, but be honest, though. Would you enjoy more blocking dudes or knocking dudes over to try to get the quarterback or running back?
I just think you just got to have a nastiness to you to play offensive line. Even getting the kids to buy into playing O-line is hard. Everybody wants to play defense. Everybody wants to get to the quarterback. But again, that's just the buy-in and the culture we're trying to establish here at Booker T. We may have to go back to the old days of Ironman football. Like I tell the kids in my day, I didn't come off the field. Didn't want to come off the field. So again, that's just the mindset. We're a Division III school. We won't have the numbers that some of these, Division V, Division VI schools. So my thing to the kids is just expressing to them, getting them in shape, mentally and physically. And I just think, like I said before, I just think as the year progresses, we'll see more buy-in. I think we'll be right where we need to be when we need to be there.
lastly for me, and I know Ed will follow up here as we close out with you. We thank you for making the time for us. I know you're very, very busy this time of year as you get ready for those scrimmages and then game one coming up at the end of the month against Petersburg Crimson Wave. What do you really want to establish in year one and early on in building this program? You come from Kings Fork with Coach Joe Friend over there. You guys had a lot of success, and you were integral in that happening. I know he's excited for you and pumped that you get this first opportunity as a head coach, though he does see you depart his program. But, some coaches come in with, we're going to win this many games. We got to get this. Right. What do you want to do in terms of establishment as you turn, when it's all said and done, turning a page from 2024 to 2025? People say, all right, this is what Booker T's about, their identity, if you will.
I just want my kids to know, the community to know that I love them. One of the things I picked up on very early when I walked in here, it just wasn't a good aura, a good vibe. I want to create a safe haven for our kids, create an opportunity for them, to be a part of something great, to revitalize Booker T, because we all know, man, Booker T's in the heart of Norfolk, Virginia. So my biggest thing would just be family, just creating a family atmosphere that our kids love to come to, love to work, and just love to get better each day.
Booker's trying to make some noise this year in the Eastern District, along with other schools from the city of Norfolk, like Mason Williams' alma mater, Norview, Lake Taylor, Granby, who made a big splash a season ago, and, of course, reigning state champion Maury. Our final couple minutes here with the new head man of the Bookers, Mason Williams, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. First game of the year, Bookers and Petersburg, a good old Eastern region, Central region / rivalry from multiple sports in years past, Ed.
Well, like I said, Norfolk, I had the opportunity years and years ago to coach at Norview High School basketball side of it, at Mason's alma mater, before Mason. And
you didn't coach him on the hard way. That was before him.
No, I didn't have him. I would love to have him on a basketball court. I got a feeling he would use his 5 fouls up pretty good.
6 fouls.
He's got more game than that. Don't call him a foul fest guy.
I'm not saying we put him in just a foul. I'm just saying he wouldn't waste his 5 allotted fouls.
Okay. I wouldn't make them count.
There you go.
Did you play hoops in high school or just football?
No, I played football and I wrestled.
And you're a wrestler? Okay. Yeah. Well, now we can get some WWE action.
Right.
Are you a pro wrestling fan?
Yeah, I actually do like WWE.
There we go.
Every Monday and Friday.
There we go, man. He's in. And we got to take Mason. Matt and I went to a Virginia Championship Wrestling minor league.
He dragged me to this 2 weeks ago, Coach.
We got one of these days to take you with us.
Okay.
And we sat second row, and we heckled those wrestlers like crazy.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. That'd be fun. That's the entertainment.
That's exactly what it is, entertainment.
Right.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing some entertaining Friday nights over there at Booker T. Washington High School, a place where Bruce Smith once sacked quarterbacks and restored the tradition and pride of there to the Bookers. Coach Mason Williams, thank you so much. All the best to you, and we'll be watching. Keep in touch.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. That's Mason Williams with us here.
All right, now. Appreciate it.
Man of the mighty Bookers of BTW, our guest right here on Cova Sports TV. We'll take a timeout. We've got more 757 Saturday Sports Talk coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Right here on Cova Sports TV after we hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
All right, we're back. Here we go. What do you call a hippie's wife? You call a hippie's wife Mississippi. Mrs. Hippie.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV, wherever you may be tuning in. Apple, Spotify, VirginiaPreps.com, X or Twitter as they call it, Hatfield Sports on my X page or Twitter page, Hatfield Sports 2K4 on Instagram. Interact with us. We always enjoy it. Ed, before we get to some more football coaches, you just heard from Mason Williams of the Bookers of Booker T. Washington. Have you ever been to Mississippi?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't been to the Great Sippy.
The Great Sippy, okay.
Yeah, the Great Sippy. You just killed the thought, though, in the water.
I ain't killed a thought. Still a great thought.
The joke made no sense. Mississippi. You try to put an H in it. There is no Miss-a-hippie. You'd have to say it Mississippi.
You're an Eddie Downer is all you are.
I'm just the fact man here. I'm the one that has to keep this show on the level or we don't go to the top.
Yeah.
We're on our way to the top, but we're not there yet. And then pool jokes is killing us. But people, we still need a sponsorship for the Fool in the Pool, and we can go national with it.
Yeah, we need a sponsorship for the guy who's wants to crash the party and get all the feelings hurt. That's you, always. By the way, Super E chimes in. I missed Coach Ed at the AEW taping a couple nights ago. Well, listen, E, go back and watch the last couple of episodes. You'll see us from the Virginia wrestling event we went to over there on Granby Street.
DCW, Eric, go to DCW.
He did not go to AEW at ODU. You weren't there. I think E was there as he interacts with us.
The problem, Eric, the problem is simply this.
There
to
you
sit
go,
ringside, the Magnolia State. Good job, Woodrow.
Yeah, look at that.
The problem with the AEW taping, I did see some of it on TV Wednesday night, yes. I got to be close to ringside, obvious reason.
Because you spent all your money on your vacations and your previous wrestling extravaganza, right?
Well, New York City killed me last week, and then I'm in Pennsylvania.
New York City?
Yeah.
You don't remember that commercial, do you? That goes over half of our audience's head, by the way, but go ahead.
Right. It's too much money because I have to sit ringside because I got to get on the wrestlers.
No,
I'm
you
pretty
don't
good
have
to
sit ringside. You want to sit ringside.
Because I have to interact with the wrestlers. I like
that always gets me. Like, real quick, I'm going to get a rant started before we get to our football topics. People that say we have to have a shot clock. And I'm not, you're against it, number one. So get mad at
you don't need a shot clock.
I'm not against having a shot clock, but I always argue back. We don't have to have a shot clock in high school basketball. We want a shot clock. Can it be better? Can it be more beneficial for the game and the athletes and everybody? Yes, absolutely. I'm not dismissing that. But I always snicker when I people say we have to have it. No, we haven't. We've played 100 years without a shot clock. Who says we have to have one right now? The game is still functionable, though you might not like it without it. You have to have officials. You have to have table workers. You have to have security. You have to have 2 baskets and 10 players on the court. Those are things you have to have. Like you just said, I have to sit ringside. No, you don't. You want to sit ringside. We want the shot clock. We don't need it. We want it. It's not like you need water and air to breathe and live. You don't have to have those. Those things you have to have. The other thing, you don't have to have a shot clock.
Okay, are you done yet? Calm down.
There you go. I emptied the bucket. Go ahead.
I have to sit ringside because.
No, you don't. You want to sit ringside.
Can I finish, or is it going to be a constant interruption?
Go ahead.
I have to sit ringside because I'm interjecting into the drama, the entertainment that wrestling is. So I have to get on some of the heel wrestlers. You can't do that from the 62nd row. So, and I'm not paying $700 to sit ringside. Now, if somebody wants to sponsor my seat, I will be there. I have no problem being there, and I will do my just duties. But wrestling, I have to sit ringside.
No, you don't. You want to sit ringside. Have to and need to and want to. You need to understand the complexities of these. Like you just saw someone need we want a shot clock. Could we use it? Sure. Am I against it? Not necessarily. I'm not necessarily for it. I've always argued, give me data. But this notion that don't get me started. And by the way, Nick chimes in. Austin Dillon wrecked 2 guys for the win and got penalty. Yeah, did you see that last week with the racing?
That was the guy that he jumped out of the car, started crying a little bit, then he grabbed his baby.
That was like some wrestling. That was like some WWE drama they had.
The reason he grabbed the child was very simple, because the guy that he wrecked was coming after him. Yeah, because they interviewed him after, and he had some words for him about then he grabs his kids, and then that's a lot of beat. I think he was coming after him, and he can't hit the guy with a kid in his hand. So
I'd like to see you at a race, either at Richmond, Martinsville, somewhere. It doesn't have to be in Virginia, as we know, because you're a world traveler these days. And let you be we used to say silent reporter. Let you be the guy that interviews the racers afterwards. Watch one of them punch you in the face. It'd be great. It'd be so great.
I would be like you. I would antagonize a little bit. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, you're getting punched in the face. Exactly.
He pushed you out of the way, right, and then start a fight like you. But see, if I go to the races, I have to sit close to the front of the track. The seats closest to the track.
You don't have to sit closer. You want to sit closer. Oh my gosh.
I have to sit close.
You don't have to.
So that I can see what's going on, so I can analyze.
Let me get straight. If you go to a wrestling or racing event and the security says, "Sir, you can't sit there," you go tell them, "No, Mr. Security Guy or Miss Security Gal, I have to sit there." You're going to tell them that? How's that going to fly?
I went to the Janet Jackson concert. I had to sit close so I can wave to my crush, Jan. I can't wave to her in 100 seconds.
Yes, you can.
No, she waved to me because I was up close.
She didn't wave to you.
And I was able to see that.
You're delusional. You are delusional. You are very delusional. She was not waving at you. Okay.
Yeah, and wait a minute. We're talking about racing in a nutshell. Yeah. Who's this, Caleb? Caleb, we don't do a whole lot of race talking because one of the things we've learned, if we're not real vested in it, we'd rather have somebody maybe like you come on who knows a lot about it, and we kind of play off of what you know, and then that way we give our audience the real
money
deal.
How about that? Derek said he'd emptied a billfold. Look at that, to see you with the matching hat being a wrestler. Oh yeah, it could be like the guy you heckled. What was the guy's name? Sharky or whatever his name. Snarky. What was the guy's name?
His last name was Sharky.
You told him take the suit back to Sears. You had the whole place dying with that line.
You know what? I could come in this suit. Derek, let me bring you back. Let's go WWE about 15 years ago. Matt might remember this. The Godfather. Remember The Godfather? Remember how he dressed with the feather, the hat with the feather?
Oh, yeah. I do remember
that. He had all the women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you haven't been to races. I thought maybe you've been there too. But, a lot of people, I'm going to say this hopefully the right way. A lot of general racing fans, they go to races because they like to see the accidents, which is one of the most asinine, stupid reasons to go to a race, just because you want to see the accidents.
Well, you go to the hockey last week. Oh, not last week. A few months ago, we went to the hockey to see the Admirals playoff games. You went not just once. You went 3 times, by the way. You became addicted.
Loved it.
And your whole reasoning, I don't know if I told Dennis and Chuck and Nick this, but I was telling people this. Your whole reasoning, and Dennis, the former Admiral, is great, by the way. Dennis McEwen, that is. Your whole reasoning was you wanted to see a fight, and every time they had it threw down, you were yes, that's what you said. I want to see the fight. That was your yes, that's what you said. Don't lie.
I'm on record. National Hockey League. Why it does not go high in my list of things is I don't like when they throw down and allow those guys to throw punches and fights. If I want to see a fight, I'm going to go to a boxing match, which I never will. Now, minor league hockey is known for their fights. Dennis, I think, was in a couple.
More than a couple.
I'll put it mild. Yeah, in a couple.
As we call it, yeah.
But when you go live and see how those guys are getting checked and hit, now you see why those fights come up. And, trying to protect the scorer guys, the little guys that can really go, and the bigger dudes, the defensemen got to protect their people. I kind of get it. I just don't like to see it interrupted with a lot of fights because – to me, that's not part of hockey, even though everybody says it is.
By the way, Nick makes a good question. You did not set up close. You were not right behind us.
Yeah, the tickets I bought were up a little bit. But I want to get next year, I'm going to get the tickets right up next to the glass. So when they hit the glass, I'm right there to give my comments out to them.
Google the fight. Matter of fact, if we've got permission, we want to play that next week on the show.
Well, I didn't want to say too much because Dennis was known as a good skater too, but I think he can throw down if you want to mess with him. I think Dennis can throw down.
Put that up there. I haven't looked that up. I'm going to see that. I will tell you one of my favorite Admirals videos we love is our buddy Jerry DeVender. That's one of the great videos. That's a classic. Well, he goes through all the fights and all the things in there. That's a great video.
That goes way back.
If we could get permission from whichever TV station, that was the Hampton Roads Goals back in the day. People should look that up on the internet.
Let them know that we're playing their video and give them. We're not selling it, but yeah, that's class. Oh my God, classic. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we mentioned it a few moments ago. You said the show is on its way to the top. At the top of Region 2A. From the Bay Rivers District, Edward, are the Poquoson Bull Islanders. And we say howdy to Coach Duty, right? See what I did there? Howdy to Coach Duty. There you go. Look at that. Look what I did there. Say something funny.
Coach, it wasn't me. You're one of the greatest.
I'm not being mean. I just said we say howdy to Coach Duty. Would you like to hear from him now and not hear from me?
Oh, you don't know how many times I like to hear that.
All right. Here it is. Coach Elliott Duty of the reigning Region 2A champion Poquoson Bull Islanders on Cova Sports TV. Hit that like button, the share button, and subscribe too. You'll get more of me and the whimsical Edward Young.
Okay, here with Poquoson head football coach Elliott Duty after his team's preseason scrimmage at the Ocean Lakes Dolphins. Coach, coming off the region championship a season ago in 2A and a state berth, you play another Class 6 school here, which you did a season ago up at your place. What's this do to help you guys prepare and get ready for the season?
I think the athleticism. Their quarterback is very athletic. I thought he threw the ball well. So I think competing against that caliber of athleticism will prepare us for down the road.
Of course, you lose one of the best speedsters in the whole area and state, Baker Green, Eastern Kentucky, I think it is for track. But you've got a returning at quarterback in Eli Tyndall. He scooted around the pocket tonight, made a couple nice throws, including one late to your tight end and Ryan Burke. What do you see from him? A state champion in baseball this past spring.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Athletic, makes good decisions, throws the ball well. We got to catch the ball a little better than we did tonight.
Sure.
I thought we put some on the ground we should have caught. But we'll get better. Tonight was a good test, and we'll go from here, and we'll get ready, and we'll improve next week and get ready for Heritage, and then the Bay Rivers grind.
There you go.
And then by playoff time, we'll be ready.
Tell me about number 70 for you. He's a rising sophomore, Carter Jones. I know he was an all-district, all-state level performer as a freshman. He's got an Old Dominion offer, and just speaking with you beforehand, he's just a really good kid. And tonight he made a bunch of tackles for loss on the defensive side of the ball.
He did real well on defense. Later in the year last year, he was only playing offense, and then in the playoffs, he started playing defense. He did a good job. So he's going to do good things for us this year.
A couple more for you, let you run. Give me some other names that we should watch out for this year for the Islanders. You got some returnees in addition to Jones and Tyndall with and Burke, even some guys like Cleo Smith, right?
Cleo, Dylan Bullard. Jason Kell played wide out for us. He caught a ball early made a good play on the ball in the air. Nate Kuros is playing some tight end when Burke plays running back. So he did a good job. So we're only going to get better.
Sure. And lastly, what do you want to see this year? The Bay Rivers, as you mentioned, it's a grind with Lafayette being a king of the district for so many years, War Hill and others. What do you want to see for you guys to take the next step and possibly come in a championship game in December?
Yeah, just improve week to week and be playing our best football when we get to the playoffs. If we do that, we'll be fine.
Go check them out, the Bull Islanders this year. Elliott Duty, thanks so much. All the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.
So you heard from Coach Elliott Duty of Poquoson. Carter Jones was impressive last night. Just a rising sophomore lineman, really engaging, smart young man who was making tackles for loss. He's a big offensive force. They have another sophomore who's really good up front. And Poquoson's schedule scrolling across our ticker. How about that season opener? Very intriguing with Lake Taylor, who I know scrimmaged Bayside this week. Hank Sawyer, one of the very best in the area, though Hank graduated some key parts like an Elijah Moss Washington, the two-sport athlete, who is now at Syracuse playing his college football. You can never sleep on the Titans. They're going to play fast and aggressive, and a little bit of a contrast to styles. In a sense, Lake Taylor with that aggressive defense, Poquoson with the wing T ball control style offense could be determined by how Poquoson's defense does against, say, the Lake Taylor offense. But, there still will be some battles for both teams moving into district play. War Hill in mid-September, later September for them. Lafayette into the schedule for Poquoson. Nonetheless, intriguing there. And Lake Taylor, of course, has – I think St. Chris again on the schedule. Private school from Richmond is very, very good. Maury is always a big matchup in Norfolk in the Eastern District. But you have to like the buzz of Poquoson, though. Green graduates their best player. They might have more parts. You see this a lot in football and basketball. As a coach, when you lose your best player to graduation, but you might have a more well-rounded team and your team was already good, it's interesting in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah. When you're losing the better kids, you have to spread out their loss to hopefully somebody that steps up and takes that baton, so to speak, and runs with it.
Yeah.
Because you always have to improve from the previous year, where if you were like a role type player, you got to move up into a main type player. And that a lot of times for teams to really exceed, that happens. For teams that don't, it didn't really ever happen. Therefore, there's a struggle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they mesh this year. They have 8 or 9 starters back on defense. You touched on it. I think, a scrimmage against Ocean Lakes as a Class 6 school feels like they can be a little bit better, but those things will sharpen you up as you get ready for what's ahead in the BRD run. They're going to be high in our Class 2 top 10. Our countdown's already started on virginiapreps.com with the number 10 teams this week. If you haven't checked it out, the number 10 teams are free right now on the site. The 9 through 1s will be premium for subscribers, but Patriot out of Class 6.
Wait a minute. So I got to pay to watch, to go see who all those other teams are. Hatfield, this is ridiculous. I got to pay for stuff that I should be able to get.
Let me ask you a question. When you buy the newspaper, when you go get gas, do you have to pay for that, or is it given to you for free?
Wait, what does the newspaper got to do with gas?
Because there's other sites that cover it. When you put on your television, is that free, or do you pay for that bill? How about when you get on the internet? Is that free? How about your when you call a friend, if you have any, on your phone? Is that free?
Yeah, I've got a couple friends that hook me up.
Okay, so you don't pay a dime for anything. Everything is given to you for free.
I told you.
You just love getting under my skin.
Sally.
But I give you better. I get under your skin more than you get under mine, so it evens out a little bit, somewhat.
No, you don't get under my skin. I understand you. I understand you.
No, you don't.
People have to be able to have a working partnership. You have to understand the partner.
Thank you, Caleb.
Right, Caleb. See, I deal with this nut job somewhat on the daily, so I understand what's going on.
Nut job. See, look at you. There's the name calling. You have to be that way. It's so wrong of you. Uncalled for. Disrespectful and distasteful.
I say it in an affirmation type manner, not in a derogatory manner, which
nothing's
by the way, for those that are just tuning in and heard my rant about him charging, it was a play on somebody else.
Yeah, that was like a month ago. Nobody gets that. That's old news buried, and you just want to dig up bad feelings and vibes. That's all.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that maybe that person's listening and now they get it. That it was a ridiculous statement for them to make. Yes, you got to pay.
Woodrow and the audience are rooting for an argument. Well, we've already been kind of arguing.
No, Woodrow. Yeah. I am surprised by you.
No.
Imagine a pro coach ranting on his partner.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you'll see on some of these shows that they get on their partners when they screw up. I have to keep Hatfield in line, because if I don't, who will? And by the way, I've said this before. If some of you have not listened enough, I never argue. The only time I argue is when I am wrong, because I have to try to convince you that I'm right. When I'm right, when a person is right, they are a fool to argue. They're already right. Why would you argue?
Yeah. There you go. If you want to interact with us, like you see on the screen from me, just comment with us through X or Facebook, all the different platforms. We'll even throw up a message. I don't know if we can do the IG yet that you send. We've gotten some of those on IG. I'll read them out here on the shows. We've got hundreds and hundreds of people watching all over the web. Well, Edward, we not only caught up with Bay River School in the Beach District, we caught up with the Beach District School in the Beach. You'll hear from the Ocean Lakes Dolphins later on in the program today, or perhaps next week. We got up with James Yeager and two of his standouts, Noah Colon and Devin McGill. But we go down the road from Ocean Lakes to Dahlia Drive, a place that you once coached at on the Hollywood. They did a tri-scrimmage on Thursday. After I found out it was not at Oscar Smith, it was at Green Run. That was fun. Green Run, Oscar Smith, and Dinwiddie. 3 teams that will be in our top 5s in each classification. Green Run in Class 5, Oscar Smith in Class 6, and Dinwiddie in Class 4 with Billy Mills and the Generals. But we now hear from the head man of the school that hosted that, do we not?
Yeah, we're going to talk about none other than one of the top coaches in the area. The record the last few years have been just astounding. Brandon Williams, Green Run head football. Let's see what you got to say.
All right, I'm here with Green Run head football coach Brandon Williams after his team's tri-scrimmage with the Oscar Smith Tigers and Dinwiddie Generals here on your home turf in Virginia Beach. Coach, tell me about what you gained from it. I know the film will reveal a lot more, the good things, the warts, but what's your initial takeaways from what you saw tonight?
I like the way we competed. I like the way we came out and didn't back down from anyone. Usually, of course, like I said, scrimmage one. Everybody has still got things to work on before we kick off on week 1. But I'm just, like I said, I'm very, happy with the competition level that we brought today on that field.
Not to diminish what you see in the Beach District or knock anybody, but you have won 33 straight in the city. Is it also good for your kids to get away from some beach teams and play some teams that are also state level quality? Oscar Smith's won a couple titles in Class 6. Dinwiddie's won a couple titles in Class 4. You guys have been knocking on the door in Class 5?
No question. That's why we look. That's what we look to this scrimmage for. Gets outside that beach work. Some perennial powerhouses, as we like to call them in this here state, that they've been to where we're trying to get to, and the only thing we can do is get better off of that competition we got today.
You mentioned at the Beach Football Coaches Luncheon the other day that you lost about 4,000 plus yards of receiving between Keelan Brody Adams, who's now at Virginia Tech, Tayshaun Young Stevens at Norfolk State, but you still got some good receivers. Yeah. Don't leave out some other guys you lost also that graduated in the last couple of years. Even before those, you had the Tayon Holloways of the world. But Jaden Anderson for you showed that wiggle, the Virginia Tech commit. And even using Knowledge Harrell, who's known for his defensive prowess on the offensive side of the ball. Will we see that a lot more this year, you think, potentially? Or?
Yes, no question. Knowledge will definitely be a two-way player on both sides of the ball. Another receiver, young guy that's going to get some touches, Khalid Morris. He had a pretty good night tonight also. With Jaden, he's so dynamic, so we do so many things with him. So if we get some help around him with 3 or 4 guys that can, take the load off of him a little bit, we'll be back to that dynamic offense that we had in the past.
It's going to be hard for any team at any level in the state trying to match you guys big play through the air with fireworks. So the strategy, I think, for a lot of teams is try to grind it out against you guys, be physical, run it. But that being said, you have some guys at that linebacker spot, second level of your defense. Manny Taylor, who's headed to Pittsburgh, we know as a linebacker for you. Even a new kid, Tristan Williams, tonight, showing some flashes at number 22 for you.
Right. Tristan is definitely that spark, that fire spark that that we have in that interior of our defense. That he's coming downhill. He likes contact, so we need that type on our defense. And like I said, a couple of weeks back, people are used to us, scoring lots of points this year. I mean, in the years past, but I'm looking forward to our defense, being the go-to unit on our team this year.
As you and the staff break it down film-wise, a couple more for you. Is the trench is going to be the area y'all focusing on it because you got Big Tommy Water on the offensive line. You got on the D-line tonight, Larry Trey Giddens made a lot of plays for you, and I know he's been doing that for years now. Is that the area that will kind of dictate how far you can go in the overall success?
No question. Everyone, it's an old cliche, but it's true. It's true when you say it. You only can go as far as you win every game up front, and the game is won up front. You got to begin with our focus point, and that's what we're focusing on up front to be able to move people around. Like I said, we got some good competition with these 2 D lines this tonight. See where we're at as an offensive front and a defensive front. We got some work to do, but I like where we're at, so we can know we can improve on.
New back as well, Charles Jackson, I think it is. He showed some potential as well. I know he was a big time player last year as just a freshman.
Right. Charles is definitely a great addition to our offensive side of the ball. He does great things when he got the ball out in space. So we're looking for big things from him this year too.
Lastly, as you get ready for your last one, your benefit game with Norcom, and then in game 1 coming up against Tallwood, I think it is, right? what are you wanting to see as you go on this journey to continue this domination you've had in the Beach District, and hopefully be back in that regional and state championship mix?
Well, of course, the goal is to get better each and every week. We got a strong and feisty Norfolk team that's coming in here next week to prepare us for that week 1 matchup. We're looking forward to that matchup next week with the wide receiver Alden. He's a good ball player, so we can get another measurable matchup next week to see where we're at. But as far as looking towards the future and the streak, we just gonna take it one game at a time around here and look forward to getting back to where we need to be, and that's at the end of the season, in the state tournament.
Should be a lot of fun Friday nights here on Dahlia Drive at Cadillac Harris Stadium. Thank you so much. All the best.
Okay, thank you, man.
So that was Brandon Williams of the Green Run Stallions, Ed, who will kick it off in 12 days, 6:30 kickoff against the Tallwood Lions. It is Cova Sports TV, 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on the program. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and interact with us. And we might even squeeze in a little bit of the comments from Robert Jackson of Landstown. We had our Beach District football coaches luncheon that took place on my birthday, by the way, this past Tuesday at Regent University's founders, and all 11 coaches were there, including Coach Williams of the Stallions, who had that 33-game Beach District winning streak that dates back to the abbreviated COVID season. The last loss they took was the 2021 calendar year in the spring to Salem in a close one that was, I think, decided by a whisker. All right, real quickly, before we look at them big picture and take a timeout, come back with more. We still got Coach Boyd of Grafton coming your way, and you'll hear some more. Plus, we've got our mailbag, your questions that were sent to us, and you can always send them to us through Twitter, X, Facebook, all the different platforms through social pages, and email us to it, hatfieldsports@gmail.com, where we'll take nominations for Players of the Week and Standouts this year. We'll put them up on the show. Will the streak, Ed, be 43 by the time the postseason arrives in November for the Stallions of Green Run High, a place where Plaxico Burris once dazzled? Will Green Run go 10-0? Because I believe last year, it might have been a year before when we were on radio, I forget. My memory's a little fuzzy. You have to correct me. I don't want to falsely represent you. Will it get to 43? Because I know a year or two ago you did not think it would get that far, and it did.
No, I said they would lose at least one district game.
Right, and it did, but they didn't. So what's your feeling right now? Gun to your head, but we won't put a gun to your head.
Can't say that statement on radio, on the show. Gun to the head is no
We're
good.
not on radio, we're on podcast, but go ahead. I just did it anyways. Water pistol to your head. Super soaker to your head. Super soaker to your head. We will put a super soaker to your head to spray the stuffings out of you. That's great. I got a super soaker. You want to go see it? You want to see it?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anything with you in the pool, no. I don't want to be anywhere near it, because when they raid it, I don't want to be accused of being with you, and I have to go to jail too. Don't want it. I'm going to roll the dice. The dice says they lose one game. Who to?
I muted myself. I'm mute myself there. I know you like that. Would you like to see the schedule and how it lines up?
Give me the schedule. I got something in my mind.
Well, that's fine. I will give you, again, the last team to beat them was Salem in 2021. They got a lot of talent. Kassan Farrar's going to UConn, the quarterback. Jane Anderson going to Virginia Tech, the wide receiver. Manny Taylor, the linebacker, going to Pittsburgh. A Knowledge Harrell, the defensive back, now playing some more wide receiver, going to the Hokies as well. There's a schedule. Pick out the loss. Since I don't think they're going to lose Brandon and Stallions, Edward Young says you're going to lose. So pick it out. Go ahead. Let's see this.
Cox at Cox. Okay. Kempsville's home. Okay. Kempsville before Salem. Landstown, after Salem. Oh, boy. I'm going to say they lose one, and it's in the middle of their schedule. From Cox on. Salem would be the easy pick because that you just said how talented they are.
Oh, that's spoken like a true Kellum grad right there by Nick Zinti. That's a lot of pressure on Coach Brian. He's there, Nick. I don't know if you want to do that.
10-0. Kellum, I don't know if they go 10-0.
I don't think they've ever gone 10-0, but we appreciate the fandom from Nick.
Yeah, I'm going to say you got Cox.
I don't see it, and I don't see who they're losing to. Salem is maybe your best bet. You think Cox is the one, really?
I'm saying from Cox to
Salem.
My guy at Bayside, John White.
On a Saturday, really? They did lead them at halftime last year, but they lost some players transfer. They still have Halim Hardnett, wide receiver, is very good. Xavier Guidry, breaking in a new quarterback.
In that run right there.
I like all those guys. I just don't see it happening. I think you're out to lunch a little bit. So
Well, I'm not hoping they lose, Brandon. You know me. I'm not hoping you lose.
I think you're totally crazy on that one.
Well, I've been called that in the past, so I don't. That's okay. I sometimes mimic that, but I do think there's a loss in there. But I do think they go deep in the playoffs.
Okay, and win the region. Are they the favorite in your eyes in 5A? Indian River won the region last year, beating them at Green Run. And again, they had that first round scare with Deep Creek a season ago.
Yeah, they kind of sputtered, obviously, in the playoff. And then Indian River, who's got talent, took them down. And I kind of thought they would win that, but I did say it would be probably a one-touchdown game, but Indian River got them.
I'll go even bolder. I'm not sure they have a game in the Beach decided by single digits.
So you're seeing double-digit wins every game in the Beach.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Ooh. I'm the total opposite side of the spectrum. Now, are they ready to tangle with Maury, the Region 5B champion? If it's not Maury, say Kings Fork or Warwick. And by the way, I heard Warwick held its own for a little bit of the scrimmage with Hatfield, who's going to be one of the favorites in Class 6. Remember, all those players left Freedom of Woodbridge to Hatfield. They scrimmaged this past weekend. I don't know that they're quite at that level yet. We will see. They've shown offensive brilliance and flashes of it. And if the defense measures up, they got a shot to do a lot of damage and be playing into December. But say state finals levels. But I just in the Beach District, nobody's really. Again, the teams have given them a test for a quarter or a half, but not the entire 4 quarters. Eventually, the dam breaks and they hit the big plays. And at Tallwood again last year, Tallwood played them well for a half, and then what happened? About 3-4 touchdowns were scored in 4 or 5 minutes. The game went from being, here we go, on edge of our seat, close to not close at all. So they just have that explosiveness that I don't see anybody in the Beach matching it. But I could be wrong.
The thing about it is it's going to take somebody somewhat good playing their best game, and then Green Run, maybe, as high school kids do, take them a little lightly, not be focused as they should be, and then boom, that's the upset because Green Run is very good. So you're not just going to walk in there and smack them around and beat them. There's some other factors that have to happen. You can't turn the ball over a lot. You have to take their turnovers, that probably won't be many, convert them into points. You got to hope that you catch them on a low or maybe a high. Maybe they come off a great win against Salem. Okay, because I think Salem's the apex of that schedule. And then that's why I push it a couple games past that. And then you can get them. But usually teams that are very solid, very good, they're just not – you're not going to just beat them just because we can. Some factors have to happen, especially a program like Brandon has built at Green Run. That's another thing too. I've always said you have some teams that have occasional good years, a good team. Then you have teams that have a good program. Those are teams hard to take down because they're going to be up towards the top every year. And a lot of that has to do with coaching, but the number one factor is talent. You got to have the talent. And Brandon has that, and Brandon does a good job at Green Run.
One of our IG viewers, F3_Junie, Junie. I wish we could get these on the screen. Maybe our crack staff can figure that out for us, Nick and Jack and the crew. He says Green Run will not lose a regular season game, not even close. It's the playoffs they can't get past, LOL. So we'll see what comes of that. But we appreciate him interacting and chiming in with us here on Cova Sports TV. We got another timeout. You're going to hear from Robert Jackson from the Beach Luncheon. He's one of the, you love him, veteran coach of the Eagles. He's won a lot of games from his days at Salem High. And that was at the luncheon this past week. Again, join the Virginia Beach Sports Club. You'll get to see all kinds of different guests monthly with the crew. And you can find out more online there with the VB Sports Club. And we've got the mailbag coming your way. Coach Boyd of Grafton coming your way. It's all right here on Edward Young's favorite YouTube channel now. It's on the top of his board, Cova Sports TV, Ed. But right now, we're going to first hear from One Life Fitness. We'll be back in just a moment.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
I've learned that being kind is more important than being right. Until next visit, this is Andy Rooney for Wondering Aloud on Poolside Adventures.
He moved to the veteran of the bunch. He's got a 151-69 career mark with 17 playoff wins. He's also coached at Bayside, Norcom, and Salem, but he's now the head football coach, and I know he's waiting for my burning question, of the Landstown Eagles. Robert Jackson, let's welcome him.
You need some help? Yeah. That was hard. I usually go sprint uphill, but now it's like I gotta watch where I step so I don't trip. All right. Thank you, Matt. I want to bring you greetings from Landstown High School and our principal, Dr. Johnson. I always enjoy coming to this event. I've been doing it a while. You know, I had a quick story. I was thinking about what I would say up here. I remember when it was the crying towel and you would get up here and I would tell stuff, and you know, my quick story, and Mr. Edwards, I promise it's clean, because I remember I told a joke one year, and when I got back to school, it was, we need to see you in the office, please. So I said, okay, we won't do that no more. But, you know, I'm lying. I'm not real excited, but I'm excited about football season again. We have a very young team, probably one of the young. I think this team reminds me of when I opened Landstown way back when it opened, and we had a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, and you know, guys like Percy Harvin and all those guys were young kids, and this team reminds me a lot of that. I know we're going to be starting. I can probably tell you the seniors we'll start. We probably start 3 seniors. The rest of them will be freshmen and sophomores, and sprinkle a junior in there. I had one senior who didn't come out, and I was on the field, and he sent me a text. Coach, he missed all the spring, he missed all the summer work. Sent me a text like last week, Coach, I want to come back. And I'm like, really? So, of course, I didn't respond, and he showed up. And I said, well, why you want to come back? And he said, well, I said, why didn't you come? And he said, I lost the passion. It wasn't fun anymore, and this kind of stuff. I said, well, what made it not fun? Well, all the running and the lifting and all that kind of stuff. I said, well, you do know we still run and we still lift. That part hasn't changed. I said, but I could agree. I agree. I said, I understand you lost the passion, but I want to let you know I lost the passion every time I watched you play. So we can agree that because you lost passion with your work ethics, I lost passion watching you play. So I'm trying to make a decision on whether to let this guy back or not. I still haven't told him anything. But I guess that's what high school football has come to now. you just got, I heard Coach say he didn't mince any words. So I'm finding that I had to adapt my style to not mincing words and just being honest with kids, because it's different. Social media has the game tricked up. It's different. You have parents who really think, I heard you ask a question about recruiting, and everybody thinks their child is a Division I athlete, but they have division nothing work ethics. So, we're going to do our part. And, on a serious note, I still believe, and I know we got a great group. The Beach has a great group of coaches, and I know coaches from every city. Been friends with them a long time. And the Beach has some of the better coaches, and I'm talking about just as people. And I think we all kind of model our systems the same way. We're not going to set kids up when they walk across that stage and get a diploma. The wins will be the wins. But we're not gonna set a kid up when they walk across that stage and they get out here in an unforgiving world and then they look back saying, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. And I think that's one of the biggest things they can get from us as coaches. I believed it back then when I was under Coach Langston, who was my mentor, and I believe it now. That we're gonna, just like the rest of these coaches, I hear them talk and all, we're not gonna lower our standards. You're gonna have to rise up to our standards. We're not gonna lower them. And just like anybody else, I wanna win too. I hate to lose a fingernail, but we wanna win, but it's not gonna be at the expense of losing a kid. And I mean that with all sincerity. And back then, when I used to come to these things, I always had a joke to tell or something. But when you get to my age, I'm sitting over here thinking, you tripped me up when you said we're gonna go backwards. And I had to try to do my ABCs backwards and couldn't figure out where I fell in the order. So then I saw Ocean Lakes win. I said, okay, M, are there any M's in the room? And no, so I told John, I guess I'm next.
Keep on your toes. That's a nice ring you got there. I might trade you mine for. Oh no, you won't trade me for. Hey, in all seriousness, last question. You mentioned about the passion, and it's different. I know from when you started to now. You coach college ball. You coach high school football. What do you love most about coaching high school football right now in 2024?
Right now, I like the young coaches. I'm at that stage now where all I do is take the picture. I try to go out and get young coaches. If I look back at my tree of coaches, I've had right many head coaches come off my tree that were with me and went on to be head coaches. And I enjoy that aspect. As a head coach, head coaches coach coaches, coaches coach kids. So we meet after every practice, and I have all the coaches go and talk about their position and talk about things. I don't want any yes men in the room, but like I tell them, everything I say is not right, but everything I say ain't wrong either. So, because sometimes I just had a conversation with my coaches last night and told them, as long as I've been doing this, sometimes, we've had some success with in this game with some coaches I've had. But I see a lot of coaches, they come in, all they have are answers. I told them last night, none of y'all have questions. You ain't been coaching that long, so you should have some questions about and talk to people. And I told them that's where our country is now. We're so quick to just discard our elderly, and I'm in that elderly range now, discard their knowledge. And I had kids in my class talking about they'd rather listen to their 14 or 15-year-old friend than listen to an adult. So, to answer your question, I enjoy watching younger coaches come through the ranks. And I enjoy watching coaches come through and they're doing it right. And their kids are having success in life, period. You mentioned my ring. I only wore it because I was coming here. But it was in my glove compartment the whole time. Because it really, I can take this ring and just set it down, and it's just a ring. But when I get a call from Big Dave Thompson, or I get a call from John White, or I get a call from Lindale Gibson, or Bucky, or I can name guys who weren't stars and they call, hey coach. That means a whole lot. The wins will come and go, but those lifelong relationships you build, that's what I love about this game.
Priceless.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we are back on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. You heard from the head football coach of the Landstown Eagles, Robert Jackson, at the Beach District Football Coaches Luncheon that just concluded this past Tuesday at Regent University Founders Inn. We thank him and all the coaches that tuned in and stopped by this past week. Ed, your reaction to what Coach Jax had to say there. Some very touching remarks at the end about some of his former pupils here, from the Bucky Hodgeses, the Lindell Gibsons, the John White's of the world, who's now a coach at Bayside, among others. And he had a couple of quips in there. And he also, we generally go in alphabetical order, have them draw numbers, names out of a hat to see who goes first. You go from A to Z. We went backwards. So that's where his joke was about you going backwards there. You threw me off there trying to do my ABC. So, but he's got the humor side to him, and obviously the decorated history of a coach who's been in a lot of big games, championship moments, and been doing it the longest of anybody in that district.
Coach Jackson has a way of doing things, saying things, and they've been successful through the years. His points are well taken. He doesn't, as he said, he doesn't say much that's wrong, if at all. I like his delivery, and he has affected the lives of many, many, many young men. And when he talked about his coaching tree, John White's one of the guys that have either played under him or coached as an assistant under him, gone on to lead their own programs in that. And he's still doing it, and he's still doing it at a good level. So it kind of epitomizes what we do in the coaching business and why do we coach? He said it very simple. Every year is different. Even though it looks the same, it's different because you have kids in front of you, and you got a chance to mold those kids, not just as a team, which is your main job, really, but it's not your most important job. So he does it well.
How about the schedule? Cox, Tallwood, Salem out of the chute. If they can get to 2-1, or even say 3-0, they got to be smelling like a rose. Then it gets to PA, Bayside, Kempsville. We watch it, the ticker here. They do bring back a veteran quarterback in Zaccarello, but he mentioned a bunch of underclassmen outside of him on the roster, both sides of the football. Green runs a biggie on a Thursday in October, have a bye week, then go to Ocean Lakes. We're going to hear from either Coach James Yeager or the two standouts, Devin, McGill, Noah Cologne, in a moment here, and we'll save one of those clips for next week's show. We caught up with them at the scrimmage. We'll also hear from the former Dolphins coaches, the head men at Oscar Smith, Chris Scott, our mailbag, then Coach Boyd from Grafton to close out the show here on this jam-packed, extra-long edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk as we count it down to the beginning of football. And we're going to touch on some college football, NFL. Don't worry, folks. We've got some college football stuff coming your way in the weeks to come, leading you up to the first games at the end of the month, and our over-under NFL picks. Our weekly picks will be coming back your way. But, Ed, your quick thought on Landstown. We'll dive into it more, I think, in the future episodes of the program, but a team that's sort of viewed in that middle of the pack, but with Coach Jackson, the wily veteran, leading them there. And if they play a disciplined, physical brand of football, look out. They're a team that could pick up some steam. And I heard they had a pretty solid showing with Kings Fork. We'll hear from Anthony Joffrey on probably next week on the show after their scrimmage that took place last Saturday before the Heat Index stopped it in the second half with Highland Springs. But they're a team that could be dangerous that we're not talking a whole lot about. They always have athletes at Landstown.
Yeah, I would say if I had a list of most improved and watch out, Landstown would be on that. I think they're going to have a better season than people are saying or expectations thereof. You mentioned maybe at the beginning of the year they're starting in the middle of the pack. If some of those youngsters that he's high on come through early and they gain their confidence and be able to keep it, I think their situation is you can't do a lot of mistakes, obviously. Stay confident on a big win because they have a type of team that can knock off a green run and then lose to somebody that had no business losing to the very next week or later on in the season. So they can overcome that. I would put them on my to surprise list, and I think possibly the most improved team at the beach.
Yeah, 5-6 a season ago for the Eagles of Landstown High School, and we'll see what they have cooking as they will kick it off to begin the season later on this month against the Conks Falcons. We had Coach Tyler Noe on the show a couple weeks ago. If you missed that, go to our playlist page. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button for all of our YouTube material. But playlist 757 Sports Talk, you'll find it. You can go check it out and see it right there to be at your fingertips. A team that was just on the outside of the playoff cut in now Region 5A. They used to be in Region 6A, the Ocean Lakes Dolphins, who went 4-6 a year ago, Ed, but they bring back a lot of returnees. You want to hear from Coach Yeager now, or you want to hear from two of the players, Devin McGill and Noah Colon? Pick your poison.
You know, we've heard from so many coaches, and I love the coaches, but I really love the kiddies. So let's hear what Noah Colon and Devin McGill.
Yeah.
Colon. Let's go with those guys, them up front guys too. You know, I love the linemen. Let's hear what the youngsters have to say about not keeping people off the quarterback and then going after the quarterback on the other team.
All right, here with the dynamic duo of the Ocean Lakes Dolphins, we got Noah Colon and Devin McGill, class of 2025 after their preseason scrimmage with the Poquoson Bull Islanders. All right, I know people will see this and they say, all right, Ocean Lakes is 6A, they're playing a 2A in Poquoson, but Poquoson's a really good team that made a state playoffs. Noah says how you guys played, your team collectively and yourself individually at the quarterback spot.
As a team, defense, we collected. If you watch the film, we had high energy. So high energy really brought it up. Offense, we were clicking quick. You know, it was a little slow start first drive, but second drive, it started clicking. We started getting touchdowns after touchdowns. And, you know, personally, I felt like I played good, but I'll definitely get back on the film, look what I did, so we can get better and better, and let's have a good season.
Sure. Devin, all right, when you're playing a wing T type team like this, it's almost like what you see in like a Kellum in the beach, but you're a flashy skill guy. You had maybe the dazzling catch of the night there from Noah on the field. What was it like going against them, and where do you think you guys are different from a season ago, possibly better, things still got to work on?
Oh, man, we got to work on a lot of things. I mean, always get better. I mean, we're good right now, but always time, watch film, everything, get better. But playing a wing T defense, man, so it's a little tricky. Misdirection here and there. So it's a lot of back and forth. You got to stay patient. Patient is key in a game with a wing T offense. And, you know, offense is going to make plays every single game. We're always going to do something. There's always room to make get better. So then we'll be good.
In a scrimmage like this, and I think you guys got one more next week for game one of the season, is it more of an adjustment time on the defensive side or offensive? How do you look at it as a player now being a senior?
I think both sides could have a lot of help. Okay. But I think our defense really stepped up this game. Really stepped up. It really showed out. Our offense, you know, our offensive line, we work on it. But we're going to work on it. We're going to film. We got everything. I think our coaches are really good this year. We're going to be real nice.
Okay. Noah, you're making the transition from wide receiver, which is going to be your most natural position for college. I know you got a couple offers, which we'll get to in recruiting for both of you guys in a second, to quarterback. How has that adjustment been for you running the offense from the show, if you will?
Honestly, it's been pretty easy because last year I did the same thing. So this year is getting back to it. It's getting a little easier clicking, and, you know, I'm on better time with my receivers, my main receiver. So, you know, it's pretty good. It helps me get a better understanding as a receiver to, you know, where to be when the quarterback throw the ball, where to be when a certain defense is lined up. So, yeah, it helps out a lot.
Okay. For both of you guys, recruiting-wise, what's it looking like? Who's looking at you so far in terms of any interest offers? Kind of fill the viewers out there about that if you can.
I mean, I currently have like 5. I have 4 D3 offers, 1 D2 offer. Okay. Looking pretty good so far. I'm excited for December, November come. A lot of offers going to be coming. So,
any school on the leaderboard right now as far as at the top? Nobody to be yet, or that's still to be determined?
I mean, I got a little top 3, but I'm not going to say too much right now.
Okay. How about you, Noah? I know you picked up a D2 offer recently, right?
Yeah. I got 6 offers right now.
Okay.
1 D1. Okay. 3 D2.
All right.
And then the rest is D3. But all very good offers. You know, I got to have a top 3. I'm gonna drop it soon. Okay. But definitely December is where I'm definitely gonna be committing. So.
Okay. And lastly, for each of you guys, what makes Devin McGill unique as a football player, and then vice versa, make Noah Colon? Tell me about what makes this guy unique and your go-to option, and what makes him such a dazzling player in the backfield for you. Who wants to go first?
I got it. Okay. I mean, make him a unique football player is his speed, his caliber to make plays. Like, even if I throw a back ball, he gonna make the play. Right. So I know I trust it. When I throw the back ball, he gonna make the play. He know what he doing on offense. He knows the plays, even outside of football. Like, you get a close bond with your receiver, you definitely gonna have a good year. So.
Okay. How about for him?
I mean, he's the smartest player on the field. I mean, quarterback QB1, throw the ball every time. I mean, I got to worry about nothing when it comes to him. Even if they got a lot of pressure, run out, he's going to make a play. I'm going to block for him. I'm going to catch the ball for him, everything for him, man. It's a lot. He's a great player. Great leader, too. A lot of good stuff like that.
Dolphins look to crash the Beach District and playoff party this year behind Devin McGill, Noah Colon. Thanks so much. All the best. Good work, guys. Appreciate it. Yep.
So that was 2 of the Ocean Lake standouts, Devin McGill and Noah Colon. Most of their interest offers right now, attention, Edward, is the D2, D3s of the world, the Shawans, the Christopher Newports, probably under-recruited, unheralded at the moment. But again, you talk about surprise teams 4-6 last year. Maybe they can reverse that and go 6-4, dare we say, this year, if we were to prognosticate it. They, interestingly enough, as you see the schedule scrolling across our ticker right now here on Cova Sports TV, they have their bye week out of the gate. What does that mean? Well, then they play 10 straight games. So they have the scrimmage, and you'll hear from Coach James Yeager next week on our show. They have the scrimmage, and then they have off time, and it's 10 in a row without the bye. I know Bayside and Tallwood have been the recent ones in that cycle. I don't love it, but they'll start things off with First Colonial. If they can take that one and take the home game with Tallwood, get to 2-0, build some momentum, then it's a trip to Kellum, who they played a triple overtime game with last year. How about this stat for you? 31 games last year, and the Beach decided by 8 points or less, and Ocean Lakes was involved in a lot of those. You never know. They could be a team that we're talking about saying, where did they come from? Because in years past, and you'll hear from after our break, Chris Scott of the Oscar Smith Tigers, an Ocean Lakes grad who led Ocean Lakes to state championship glory, the last Beach District school to win a state title. Green Run's been close, but haven't done it. Only 2 schools in the last few decades to do it. Landstown back in the Chris Beatty, Percy Harvin era, and Ocean Lakes under Chris Scott's direction. Maybe Ocean Lakes is a team that we're saying, all right, they're the team of the year as far as surprise, much like we've seen in recent years from a Granby last year in Norfolk out of the Eastern District and Kempsville a couple years before that.
Could be. I think they need a signature win somewhere, knocking off somebody that us pundits would not pick them to win. They play well. They win that ball game. Again, that could spur a team on. You know, it was once upon a time when we talked about the powerhouses in this state. Ocean Lakes was usually one of the first schools out of our mouth. And they have dropped, And you know, a lot of that has to do with that talent level is all over the place now. So other schools have come up the ladder. But it's not really in any regards to poor coaching, poor efforts on the players' part. It's just, it is what it is. But I think I've looked for Ocean Lakes to try to make that signature win somewhere that can spur those kids on that, hey, we can do this. You know, we've just proved it. We can do this, and then stay at that level. But again, you got to have a solid base. You got to have, you know, what you're working on practice. That's what it is. And you mentioned about having that by the first week. You know, I don't know. In the Beach, you know, they don't play outside teams, so somebody has to have the bye the first week, and it rotates every year, which is fair. But you know, in football, like they do in the NFL, everybody plays that first week, and then your byes start like somewhere in the middle of the year, so give teams a break because football is so grueling. It's a physical sport. You get that 1 week where okay, we can kind of tool some things that we have to, but the big thing is patch up some injuries.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to take another timeout and come back with Chris Scott. He's the head football coach of the Oscar Smith Tigers. They had a scrimmage on Thursday over at Green Run with the Stallions, who you heard from Brandon Williams earlier, and the Dinwiddie Generals, who are led by a quarterback going to Southern Cal as a running back. That isn't Harry Dalton. But right now we hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us, such as Pain and Gain, John's Tax Services, and Chicho's. Ed's going to have him some pizza up there in the Northeast later today as he watches his Yankees probably go down in flames against the Tigers in Detroit. It's all coming your way on Cova Sports TV.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
All right, we're back with another frog joke. What kind of music do frogs like this one enjoy? You give up? Hip hop. Hip hop.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
Edward is a fan of hip-hop, and we're back here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we now transition from that and Stewie to the head football coach of a team that's won a couple of state titles recently, 4 total. They won 2 under Rich Morgan, and they've won 2 under the direction of this guy in the same calendar year during the COVID year, if you will. Chris Scott of the Tigers, Edward. You're high on them. Would you like to hear what he had to say after the scrimmage with Dinwiddie and Green Run?
I still think they win the SED.
Okay. Well, let's see if his comments move you, shake you, alter your opinion right now on Cova Sports TV. He's still in a daze right now over what he just heard from the pool. We got to stay cool. Back with you in just a sec after we hear from Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to stay cool.
Okay, I'm here with Oscar Smith head football coach Chris Scott. His team's tri-scrimmage just concluded with Dinwiddie and Green Run here in Virginia Beach. Coach, it is just a scrimmage, but I'm sure there are some things you can take away from it. What's your initial blush of what we saw tonight?
Yeah, I think the first 2 things that we wanted to make sure that we did was we wanted to make sure that we flew around and we were the most physical team on the field, and we looked to check those boxes, and I think our guys did that. That's the first 2 things, and have fun doing it, right? And so I thought that we flew around, we looked fast, and we looked physical. We get to the ball, so. Once we get in the lab and look at the film, there's always going to be a million things to break down. We can't wait to get that started with that tonight.
Oscar Smith football teams before you, with you, and I'm sure even when you're long gone, have always been known for their being fast, physical, aggressive, and athletic, but it feels like there's a different level of intensity with this group. Is that partial because of, and the effort's there, but just the experience, more maturity from this group from last year, playing so many sophomores and underclassmen, if you will?
Certainly, I think that, the referee was on the sideline and he said, so what's the difference between this year's team and last year's team? He just said, we look a lot different. And it was a great compliment because I think the difference is they're all older. I mean, the freshmen are now sophomores are now juniors. We only had one offensive starter is a senior. So all of those other guys are sophomores. We got an offensive lineman. Okay. That's it. And so other than that, everybody else is sophomores and juniors. And so with that said, you get a chance to see the young guys got a little older. We're not super old, but we still have some great older leadership in the secondary and some of those guys at the athlete position. But I think that's the biggest difference. Those guys have Coach Simmons, Coach Thurgood have done a great job of building this team in the offseason. I mean, our offseason program that they headed up is just second to none, and they got after it, and you see it in the size and the way that we flew around.
And it feels like even though you have that flashy passing combination of the rising 10th grader quarterback Lonnie Andrews III, the rising junior Travis Johnson, who people have to guard one-on-one, or thought they were going to draw a flag, I guess, because he's so tough to cover one-on-one. You got that ground attack that's coming along with Brandon Nesbitt, Tajay Curtis. That's going to be a big part of your attack, is it not?
Certainly, and you see the young guy right there at the end. The freshman Reggie comes in and then bowls his way into the end zone, and that's exactly what we had. We had back there. You got a little probably the lightning at the receivers and the thunder come with the running game, and it's coming together with some of the size that we have up front as well. We played about 8 different offensive linemen, even got into where we had to play 9 yesterday because of guys coming down getting a little sick, but which is great early on when people can get that rotation. But when we get locked in, that offensive line and that running back tandem is going to be really, really physical group, and the ones that we were going to jump on the backs and let them carry us.
Sure. Twofold one here. You have some veteran guys in that defensive backfield. We talked about it in the spring that are going to be leaders for you. Jamari Deloach, who's committed to Cincinnati. Jaden Dabbs, who's committed to Army. Even flipped some guys like Copeland, Alvin Trey Jones, I know, which is committed to Buffalo. But I know you knew that secondary was going to be good, but your pass rush seemed to collapse things. Are you more encouraged by that because now they have to kind of pick your poison offensively, how you block, and you can't test guys too deep because you have playmakers back there? Or?
Yeah, definitely. We got some speed. Jordan Rayner has he something clicked in camp, and he's just – whether he's playing end, he's playing tackle, he's playing nose, or he's playing fullback or off the line, tight end set. He's gotten every rep in camp. He's not been on the solo line.
Games like Caleb Jones was a couple years for you guys?
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Okay. But what he's showing is that size and athleticism moving around. And then you go ahead and start to add that athleticism with
the end rushers that we have. And certainly, like you said, we've got some speed and athleticism there. Eli has done a great job. I've had to tell him back down. He's got him, Coach Harold, defensive line guy. He's got him batting balls down left and right, and stopping after the second step. I mean, just the technique is a little bit tighter. And then obviously when you get a little bit older and get a little bit more weights in you, you have that speed and athleticism. And it's good to see that. I saw that as well tonight.
Lastly, good to see all top 10 teams in different divisions. You guys in Class 6, Green Run in Class 5, Dinwiddie in Class 4, all have won region championship, state championships before in the case of you and Dinwiddie. Get together. What do you need to see here moving forward for you guys to be a factor come playoff time and reach your maximum potential? What is the ceiling for this group in your eyes?
I think the ceiling is the standard at Smith. I mean, that's and I say not just being one of the best teams in the state, but being a national program like Oscar Smith is. And I think this team is the team that, maybe the last 2 years, felt like that's not it, but we've been playing with some young guys that have been really, really, brothers and cousins of guys that have won championships. And so I think the sky is the ceiling, is win it all. But as we all know, it has to go each and every rep 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. When you get out here with this competition that are regional champions, state champions, regional state runner-ups, it just helps you start sharpening that sword a lot earlier. And that's what we were looking to do today. I look forward to having a really, really good, exciting team this year.
Tigers will tangle with Hermitage in Game 1. We look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So that was Oscar Smith head football coach Chris Scott. The Tigers getting ready for Hermitage out of Richmond, and they have a scrimmage next week with Salem before they kick it off for game number 1. All right, Ed, it's time for our mailbag. You ready for that?
Yeah, let's do mail. I love this segment. It's one of my favorites, if not the favorite.
We can get questions from all over the world, all over the globe, if you will. Let's hear some of these questions from the folks out there. You can always interact with us. Send your questions into on Cova Sports TV. Which team that didn't make the college football playoff last year, Alabama, Washington, Texas, and Michigan, is most likely to win it all this season? Fred Arlington wants to know.
Easy. Come on. Come on, Fred. Notre Dame. No, it's not on the list.
You're a homer. You're a homer.
I thought he wants to take it off that list.
Yeah, well, if you look at that didn't make it, you can pick them if you like. You're just a total homer there.
No, the team on that list could small chance, but could. Well, more than a small chance. Texas.
No. You're not reading the question right. Which team that didn't make the college playoff last year? The ones that did were Alabama, Washington, Texas, Michigan is most likely to win it all. We have a question with that coming up as you're just going backwards and forwards here. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm all over the place.
I think it's Oregon. I don't think it's Notre Dame. I think it's Oregon, the Ducks. But you're going Notre Dame.
Notre Dame would never.
That's Phil's number 3 team. You see Georgia, Ohio. Now you could say Ohio State. That would be probably the smartest play is to pick Ohio State. Their defense on paper is dynamite this year.
Because I try to be smart, I'm going to say Ohio State.
And they have Travion Henderson in that backfield equation, though. He's not guaranteed to be the all-the-time back, as Phil told us when we spoke with him a while back. All right, well, since you spoiled that question already, let's go to the second one, which is from Michael in Richmond, who wants to know which team that made the playoffs last year, and it's expanded now, Alabama, Washington, Texas, and Michigan, most likely to miss it this year. You got ahead of yourself.
I got ahead of myself. And the one I picked of these 4 that won't be there, Washington.
You're going with Washington. Okay.
Guaranteed.
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 I actually think 2, maybe 3 of these could miss it. Texas has got the running back injury situation right now. Alabama's got the new head coach, although DeBoer can get them in the playoff in the SEC. You lose 2-3 games, are still there. Michigan, I think, is not making it this year. So I would happen to agree with you. Washington has got no chance. It was in Penix, Odunze, the talent they lost, which was a ton.
I'll go Michigan number 2.
You're going to go Michigan number 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next question on the mailbag as we go through these rapid fire style 5. Let's go to another Michael. This one, Mike in Suffolk wants to know, was Steph Curry's 3-pointer in the gold medal game to seal the victory over France the best shot of his career? You know what's weird? I don't know that it was the best moment of his career, but I can't think of one shot. The only shot I can think of was an ABC Saturday night game against Oklahoma City. And I think it was when they had Durant and Westbrook and Harden. Remember, he just was dribbling up the court and he flung it from barely inside half court, almost Ashley James style, the late, great AJ against you, and it went in and they won that game. That's the closest I can think of that would be in that mix, if you will. But I would say, yes, it's the best shot of his career.
My first inclination is to say no. I got to believe
Because you're
He's
a Debbie
hitting
Downer.
bigger shots to win a game.
Tell me which one then.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, check the top of your head. You got hair. You're not bald.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Let's get there. Go ahead.
I'm going to say no, but I can't give you. It's whatever the last time he hit a shot that won a game for him, and if it's a playoff game, put that first.
You're bad. I ain't got time for your
Yeah,
nonsense.
people went nuts over this shot. I don't know why. Some people were saying it was the greatest shot in the history of basketball.
Best shot ever. All right, our next one. Who's the best rising senior football prospect in Hampton Roads this year? Reggie and Chesapeake. I'm going to say somebody from Maury, either Ari Watford, who's going to Clemson, or Kendall Daniels, who's going to South Carolina. I'm going to take one of the two Commodores. Can I slice it in half, or am I copping out with that?
Yeah, they got talent. You could do it, but how about if the young man gets back from injury?
Messiah Delome of Warwick, who just committed to Maryland, by the way. He's going to the Terps. How about the Terps invading the 757?
Yeah,
that's not a bad pick.
I thought he'd go to Virginia Tech, but he went Maryland.
I'm going to go with, for right now, I'll go with Watford by a hair over Daniels, but I could change my pick. Let's revisit that question. That's a good question. And our last one here, before we go to break, and then playing Coach Boyd from Grafton. How many games will the JETS Jets win this year? Bob and Poquoson wants to know. We're doing our over-unders in a couple weeks, so we'll probably save that up. But I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and they're going to win 11 out of 17 games. 11-6 for A-Rod and the JETS Jets.
I'm going to go 10.
10. Oh, you're not as down on them as I thought. All right.
I'm not big on the Jets this year. They're not going to the Super Bowl, and they're going to have to play well to make the playoffs.
All right. Quick timeout, and we'll come back with.
Yeah, man, that's all the questions. I want mailbag.
We'll do more. Don't worry. After we hear from One Life Fitness, we'll come back with Coach Boyd of the Grafton Clippers right here on Cova Sports TV. See you later. We'll talk to you after that and close the show up.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. We're all over the web, VirginiaPreps.com, Facebook, with our Virginia Beach Sportsplex and Cova Sports pages, as well as on X, 757 Sports Talk, Hatfield Sports, IG, Apple, Spotify. And with the Coach Ed Young, I'm Matt Hatfield. And Ed, we've got a special guest. He is the new head football coach of the Grafton Clippers. He's got some 757 roots, was a running back in the day, not in the BRD, but the PD, and he's been coaching in the BRD, Grafton High School, taking over from Max Bolton. Ananias Boys, Coach Nas with us here. Coach, thank you for stopping by. Congrats on the new gig, and I know you've got to be pumped for the start of football.
I am. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for the congratulations. I definitely appreciate it. I'm pumped for another year of Grafton football. Absolutely.
When you get in here late at Grafton, we know Coach Bolton has been battling some health issues, and all the best to him. We wish him well. I know he's going to be helping out at Phoebus now, but he's gone through a lot of it there, and he's done a good job there. He was co-coaches with Creighton and Cornelius there the last two seasons, 6-5, and now you take over, and it's a late start for you. And we'll get into your background, I'm sure here, Coach. We'll jump in with that with you. But you have to be excited because it's not your typical, oh, my gosh, you get thrust into a bad situation, because the Clippers, before the last two seasons of 6-5, they had some rough years of, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row of one win or no wins. However, Grafton's a team that's making some noise in the BRD, and I imagine that's the plan this coming year.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Max has been a mentor even through this transition. Same with Creighton and Cornelius. I actually had Creighton as a offensive coordinator back in high school, so we were familiar with each other. That was under Tracy Parker, ironically. But yeah, getting started late in the season, this late in the off season, for any other typical situation would be difficult, but the transition has been rather smooth because I've been part of the program for the past 2 seasons. So the same mission, the same goals are there. I have been able to pick up the torch, pick up the baton, and keep it rolling and shape it with my own type of vision and what I want to see happen. The staff is intact, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, it's an exciting time around Grafton. I have the support of the parents. I have the support of administration, which I definitely appreciate them putting their faith in me to be able to continue this torch. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. And how ironic is it you're bringing up Coach Tracy Parker of Smithfield, who was an office mate of Ed's over at Nansemond River. And ironically,
I recall
Parker on the show earlier this month, and it's your 5th game for you guys at Grafton. You have 4 before that, though, with the likes of Lafayette, New Kent, Poquoson, and then your season opener coming up on August 29th against the IC Norcom Greyhounds up there in Yorktown.
Yep, absolutely. That game is circled, meaning the Smithfield game. I did get to speak with them a little bit last season when we went out to Smithfield. Actually, the previous 2 seasons when we played them, but never in the head coaching capacity. So I get to show him a little bit of what I learned over the years from him, and yeah, it's an exciting time. But you mentioned IC Norcom being game 1. That's what we're focused on. We're focused on week 1. We have a few scrimmages to get ready for as well within the next 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, everything is rolling. The train is still moving. So excitement in the building is what it is right now. It's extreme excitement, extreme high hopes for the season to continue to build on the 6 and 4s, right? Because our seniors right now, our rising seniors were part of the 1 ends or the 0 ends, right? So it's an extremely exciting time for them transitioning into the next level of football if they get that opportunity. But excitement in the building is what I keep hearing.
Ed?
First of all, Coach, congrats on the move up to the head chair. And of course, that was one of my would-be concerns or questions to ask you was, okay, you get the job really late. But I've read a little bit about your background, being the JV coach the last couple of years. Now listening to you, I don't hear oh, woe is me. We may not win a game. Our kids don't even know which end of the field. I don't know anybody's name. Coaches always play stuff up. I hear in your voice more of an excitement. It's just title change for the most part. But the big question I would have for you, though, is, and you kind of alluded to it, but I want you to go a little more depth. Now, how do you put your fingerprint as the HC in this? And what are those couple, 2, 3 things that when they said, okay, we want you to take the varsity job, you said yes, that you have to really take care of immediately?
As far as X's and O's or just overall?
Overall, everything.
Overall, I mean, my thumbprint, what you're going to get, and this is not to say that it wasn't a thing of the previous years, but character is one thing I'm very high on. Kids of high character. And that is an emphasis within the program this year. And as long as I'm the head coach, it will be an emphasis moving forward. Kids of high character, but high athleticism and high football IQ. So my fundamentals and my focus, we did a lot of film last year, but with my background and experience in the year I did at Buffalo in collegiate sports, film is everything. So even up to watching film before the game, even getting in a lift before the game, taking care of the little things. My focus right now is the little things. So what I've seen in the past from our previous 2 seasons while I was here, we did take care of the overall big mission, which was change the culture here. Right. The culture has effectively been changed, but it's still some fine tuning to do. And that starts with the little things, film, being present in the school during the day, being around the kids and promoting that family atmosphere and letting them know you're a student athlete and student comes first. Right. The X's and O's, they have the athleticism, they have the athletic ability for that to take care of itself. And I feel we have the coaches in place that really would polish that. I mean, it's the same staff. So really, I did get a chance to actually watch that interview you did with Tracy, but it's the same concept. This is our third year, even though it's my first as head coach. This is year 3, right? So year 3 with some of the staff, and year 2 with some of them. Now that cohesion is starting to take place, granted, it's offensively, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit as well. Offensively, it's slightly different, but has the same principles. So as far as putting my thumbprint on it, that's the difference you will see offensively and really defensively, which Max, before he left, was guiding us defensively in that direction anyway. And I definitely was on board with that as well.
And of course, now the big thing you got to remember and know, and I'm sure somebody's told you, as an assistant, you can go undefeated. But I told a guy to run this to go to the 4-5. I don't know why we didn't do it. And now as the head coach, when it hits the fan, it's on you now. I mean, it's
absolutely
just the way it is. I mean, in my coaching, I'll tell our assistants, you got this, and this. And even though basketball is a little different from football, if that part that I gave you screwed up, I'm giving you that credit for the mistakes, just like I got to give you credit when it goes right.
Absolutely.
But in final analysis is on the outside world, head coach, and your relationship is a little different as an assistant. You're more of a buffer with the kids and the head coach. The term I used to use, but try not to use much, good cop, bad cop. Now as the head coach, sometimes that relationship and changing is a little tough for the kids because they kind of might still think, well, you were different as an assistant. Not really. It's just the relationship changes somewhat because of the role.
Absolutely. For us within the building, we just really focus on being consistent and finding that balance, right? Because it really is a balance. So you're correct. Coming from the assistant coach role, which I actually had the corners. So we all know how corners are, right? The prima donnas of the team, right? So I had corners, which they had a little bit more energy. They were a little bit more outgoing and stuff like that. And with me being the younger of the coaching of that staff, I could relate to them a little bit differently. But coming from an authoritative role, which I still was an authoritative figure, now I am the authoritative guy. I don't have to yell at you. I don't have to curse at you. I don't have to do any of those things to get what I need accomplished, right? And I think that's the mark of a really good coach that's running a really good program. If we're out there losing our mind and we're not keeping our cool as coaches, I think that is an energy that becomes contagious, and all energy is contagious, whether it's good or bad energy. And I am I'm very energetic. I coach off energy. I do coach X's and O's, of course, but I do feel, even looking at the outcome of a lot of our games last year, if the energy was a little bit different behind the scenes with us, overall as a program, we may have been able to hang through a lot of those tough games, those close games, and pull it out. Look, I lost you.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, there we go.
Yep, we're back now. Sometimes technology doesn't work the way you want it to. We're talking with Ananias Boyd, the head coach, Coach Nas of the Grafton Clippers, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Grafton, for that season opener coming up August 29th against the IC Norcom Greyhounds. And in your background, you were a 1,000-yard rusher with the Bethel Bruins back in your day in the PD. I'm sure you have some great fond memories of your time against some of the heavyweights, the Hamptons, the Phoebuses you can touch on. But now it's a matter of grooming 1,000-yard rushers at Grafton. So we'll start with the running backs. Who are the backs we should watch out for this coming season? Take us through the returnees, some of the newcomers, the faces on offense, and then we'll flip it over to defense, the players we should be watching out for this fall.
Roger that. So we do have a returning 1,000-yard rusher, which was McGill Barnett. I think he had 1,060 or 1,063 yards, something like that, rushing last year. The ironic thing, he had over 700 yards called back. So the little things, right? That's a holding call. That's a lot of yardage that was called back. But yeah, so running the ball, McGill Barnett will be there. We have a newcomer to the varsity, Harrison Kent Jr. We call him Deuce. He'll be helping head up the backfield. We have a former, I think he made All-Region, which is Colton Sandiford, who he's wrapping up his baseball tours, and he's in line for potential scholarship offers and stuff like that. We promote our kids playing other sports, right? So they can learn to use other muscles and whatever the best opportunity for our kids to go to school, whether that be football, whether that be baseball, track, whatever, basketball. I mean, we do promote them playing other sports. So there's Colton Sandiford offensively returning in the backfield. Our leading returning receiver and probably our most highly recruited person right now is Jaden Brown. Jaden Brown, he made first team all district, first team all region last year. He's a rising senior as well. We have Coy Snyder, who as a sophomore, I think he made all region. Last year, he played a little bit of quarterback. He played a little bit of wide receiver for us, opened up some room for our actual quarterback now, which is Luke Bryant. He's a rising junior. Luke, in like 7 or 8 games, I think he had 11 touchdowns that he threw for. Close to 800 yards, close to 800 yards passing. So I think combined, Luke and Coy both had over 1,000 yards passing, which is pretty solid work. We have Joshua Lawson. We have newcomer, of course, Ananias Boyd. I'm sure we'll get into that. We call him AJ for nickname purposes. We have Joey Foley, who's a tremendous leader on the team. He's a senior. He'll be playing some of that fullback / nub position in our offense. Then we have Will Dickinson, who's another young sophomore with AJ. So I mean, we're loaded offensively for classes to come, whether it's senior, junior, rising sophomores. We have a few freshmen we're looking at as well.
Yeah, not a bad core. And Jaden Brown for you, 26 grabs, I see, 632 yards, 4 TDs. You mentioned one of your most highest recruited guys. Who's looking at him right now? What do you view as far as his upside off to a pretty darn good junior season? And I know playing both ways, he's going to be one of the more dynamic playmakers in the whole BRD this year.
Right. A lot of teams are looking at him. I know we had ODU inquire about him. Of course, I think that's the highest inquiry we had was ODU, couple D3 programs. Shenandoah, when we went up there for our 7-on-7 this past off season, they were really highly interested in him. I know Christopher Newport's interested in him. So this year would be more of his statement year. We talked to him about leadership, and we talked to him about what it takes to get to that next level. And he's all in, and he's willing to do the work on what it's going to take to get there. And next is just execution and footage. We have a really, really good recruiting staff in the building. Leon Scott, he heads that. He's also my offensive coordinator as well. He heads up our recruiting program. He comes from, Shore's program that won state I think that was the year before last. So he brings that experience in recruiting to the game. So Jaden Brown is pretty much one of the, if not the top athlete on the team.
Outstanding. A few more minutes here with Coach Nas, the head man of the Grafton Clippers, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's Cova Sports TV as the season opener comes your way the final weekend of August on that Thursday, the 29th, against the Icy-Norcom Greyhounds for them here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, Ed.
Yeah. Nas, I want to go back into your background. I think it's interesting. You're a 1,000-yard rusher at Bethel. Mm-hmm. And for people got to understand, 1,000 yards in high school, to me, is harder to get than college and pro, because college and pro, you have more games. Yeah. And they always say if you're a 1,000-yard back, you're pretty damn good. High school, basically 10 games. Of course, you got playoffs. But you got to be pretty good. Now, from what I understand, that parlayed you into the opportunity to play next level. So speak to us as, let's go back in time, as a high school, pretty good high school player. We'll call it what it is. And then the opportunity to go through recruiting and then finally make a decision, and tell us some stuff about Buffalo.
All right. So starting with, I got to say, I said I was a Tracy guy, but technically, if we're starting at the origins, I'm a Dennis Kozlowski guy. Right. I am the last of Dennis's coached generation at Bethel.
And you made it through. Interrupted because Cause was a different character.
So dealing with, all of that as an 8th and 9th grader. When I say all of that, you mean, the protests and all that good stuff that was going on around the team at the program. I am just familiar with adversity at a young level, right? So that was my 8th and 9th grade year. And then Tracy took over heading into my sophomore season, which was where the 1,000 yards took place as a sophomore. My junior year was not as good. I missed, I believe it was 2 to 3 games my junior year. Still ended up with 700 and some change. And that's just rushing. And then my senior year, which was our 8-2 year with playing with, the likes of Jimmy Williams, Christopher Ellis, all the hokey guys, right? We finished 8-2. We did not make the playoffs that year because structure was a little bit different than what it is now. But those years, I hold very close to my heart, all 5 of them. I say 5 because I came into the program as an 8th grader. And I hold those really close to my heart. I learned so much about the sport, but what I was not prepared for was the business side of it, right? And when I say the business side of it, I don't know. There was an article written my senior year where I spoke about, not really having a focus on grades and stuff like that my junior year until I met my wife, well, my then girlfriend, but my wife now, Melinda. She, their family, my family, we were grades oriented, but it wasn't until looking at my transcripts, there were some discrepancies with my transcripts. And this is how Ananias Boyd doesn't end up at a major D1 program. So by the time we got everything fixed through protests and stuff like that, going into my senior year, there were a lot of teams that were out of money, right? It was after signing day. Nobody had money. So rolling into what would be my freshman year, well, actually, right after signing day, I have a cousin, David Holmes. He played for Syracuse, and Coach Jim Hoffner from Buffalo used to play at Syracuse. And when I sent my tape that I made up at my senior year, when I sent my tape to to Syracuse, they had my tape still, and that coach was my cousin's coach, and he reached out to see if I was still available. Right. So I was still available, of course. I really didn't have much what the kids call offers today. I had plenty. But as far as actual hard offers, it wasn't that many. I had a heart condition that was put in the paper my senior year as well. Right. To where I missed that Phoebus game. I joke with Coach Blunt all the time because, he was part of that first Phoebus staff. That first Phoebus championship as a player. Right. Sure. That was my senior year. And I always joke with him, if I played that game, that goes differently. Right. Right. And rest in peace, Bill D. We always joke. We always used to joke about what would have happened if I played that game, the glory days and stuff like that. So, but transitioning into Buffalo, it was almost like I had to take it, because it was my only full scholarship offer. Right. And what I talk to the kids about today is recognizing opportunities in the moment, which I did not, right? Full disclosure, I did not recognize the opportunity for what it was. So rolling into my freshman year of school, it was a culture shock. It was D1 ball. When you come from somewhere being a man, it doesn't matter whether you're D1, D2, or D3. When you get there, everybody's the man where they were. And my entire career, and I'm sure Tracy can speak to it, or any of my former coaches, or any of my current colleagues, or anybody that's ever worked with me in a football capacity, I was ever a selfish person, right? That didn't happen until my freshman year of college, when you start smelling yourself and I'm this, I'm that, right? And then you get a rude awakening very quickly. So some things transpired, back at home that required me to actually come back home. And I left after my freshman year. But what I learned during my freshman year under former Super Bowl winning linebacker Antonio Goss with the San Francisco 49ers. What I learned was the business side, right? And if you really want to take this further, and at that point in my career, football was a complete turnoff for me, honestly. It really was. I did not want to play the sport. I did not want anything to do with the sport. I had played it from, oh my gosh, 4 or 5 years old up every year, not missing a year. And I learned how to deal with pressure, the pressure of being a man and the pressure of being the pressure of expectation, right? So 1 year really taught me a whole lot, but I didn't get the teaching point until 2020 hindsight happened, right? And looking back, and my journey was my journey for a reason. I had to do that in order to come home and realize how much I missed it and start coaching semi-pro, and then realize how much I missed it and get in the rec league program. You start having a family and stuff like that. You get in the rec league program, and then you start building kids, right? You're a builder of kids when you're coaching rec league. And that's where I was predominantly. And then when I came to JV, I did both, right? I was rec league, I was high school. So during those moments, you really learn how to, one, communicate with kids, right? You learn how to teach the X's and O's to the kids that are not familiar, because it's as young as 8, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, right? They've never played the sport before, and your job is to make them fall in love with it. JV is a little bit different, right? When you get to JV, I say JV is the worst level. If we're being honest, it's the worst level to really have to be coaching, have to coach, but it's most important to your high school program because it's your seeds, right? There is no JV Super Bowl. There is no JV championship. There is no JV district championship. You literally are there to develop, right? Which is similar to rec league. And then now my past 2 years helping out with the varsity, I've seen the varsity side of it. And the varsity side, every level is preparing you for the next level. So with our seniors, our juniors, our sophomores, I'm taking a little bit of Kaz and a little bit of Tracy and making sure, hey, you guys, we're preparing you for the next level. If that's what you want to do, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a sport, but just life in general. We're preparing you for the next level.
Awesome. Really good deep stuff here in the last couple minutes with Coach Nas, the head man of the Grafton Clippers, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, subscribe to our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. We know you got the youngster coming up, the young Boyd. Hit on just to finish up with you, Coach. Any other breakout names, potentially an unsung hero too, be on the offensive side. Defensively, we didn't get to some of the defensive guys, and special teams. I know that's always a big thing for Eddie. So it's about the kicking and punting game, that third phase, getting forgot about. Maybe some others that are X factors for you potentially in one of those close ball games that you hope to pull out on one of those crazy, wild, and wacky Friday nights that could be anything like 37-36, or perhaps one of those 8-7, 14-13 meat grinders, if you will.
Man, hopefully we're taking care of business, and that's not the case.
Right? Yeah, one by four touchdowns.
Exactly. All of our skilled positions, the one thing I that we're blessed to have is speed everywhere, from AJ to Jaden to McGill. All of these guys were track standouts in the spring, right? So all of them have made state championships, and one of them actually won it indoor. So Will Dickinson, that's a name to look out for. Joshua Lawson, that's a name to look out for. Joel Brooks, he's probably as a long snapper, so tying in the special teams, I know he's like a 3-star or something like that at long snapper. So having him returning, he's young, he's a rising junior. You got Nolan Evers, which this is his first year. He'll be helping out on the line. Like I said, Joey Foley, the Mills twins. Brennan Mills is probably pound for pound our strongest guy in the program. He's 1,200-pound clubber. He has a twin brother, Aiden Mills. They'll be on the line. So yeah, we have a lot of talent, right? The talent the past 2 years has not been, lacking. I think it's just taking care of the little things so they can become big things. You know, small problems become big problems. Small successes become big successes. And that's what we preach.
Should be a lot of fun this coming season for the Grafton Clippers there in Yorktown, as they will kick it off here at the end of the month against Norcom, and then it's all BRD matchups from there. We look forward to watching you guys grow and prosper there. All the best to you. Congrats again on the job. And Ed's going to be keeping track of how many TDs the youngster gets this year. That's going to be his play this year. He's going to put him as one of his breakouts. He's already seen on our watch list we got coming up later on in our podcast preview show this month.
The problem is,
you said AJ is?
Yeah, no, Ed's going to keep an eye on AJ's team.
Okay.
He's going to have as one of his breakout guys. But go ahead, Ed.
Because here's what's going to happen. It's dad coaching son. Though football, you can pass them off to the position coach and all that other stuff. There's walls of protection. But when you go home, the real CEO of the program will have some things to say as to how come my son don't get the handoffs as much. How come we didn't call his play at 3rd and 1 on the goal line? And when you say, we'll talk about it, I just want to eat dinner first, you understand your dinner might be at one of those fast food places you got to go back out and get.
Right. Well, I tell you what, she's supportive, right? She knows what it is. She's aware of the situation. And of course she wants to see baby do X, Y, and Z, but in order for me, in my entire career, I've coached him 3 different times in his career, with this one being the 3rd, right? So throughout the years, I've coached him, and people don't even know he's my son. So you might be onto something, because I'm not really. If you don't know the name, we call him AJ everywhere else, right? So unless his name is actually spoken, Ananias, and they're like, wait a minute, is that? Yes, it is, but most people don't know he's my son, because I don't play daddy ball. I do not like. If anything, it's a little bit more pressure for him, because the expectation and the pressure of my reputation from the PD. I am known for football, so my reputation around the area kind of precedes him. So he's handling the pressure well as of right now, but we're in for a wild ride.
Just understand, I'm trying to help learn you young guys. I'm sure Tracy did too. Parents want their son to get Division I scholarships because school is expensive. So I guarantee you're going to hear this at home. Well, if that boy don't get the scholarship, I hope you got enough money to pay his $40,000 a year for wherever he's going, because it's coming out of your pocket.
Well, hopefully, I mean, he has multiple offers in multiple sports, and then I won't have to worry about that.
Right. Hopefully you won't have to worry about it.
Right. So if wherever God takes us in that regard, man, I'm just humbled to really be able to experience the ride with him as closely as I can. Right. And as closely as I have the opportunity. I don't take that for granted. And I mean, not just with him, that of course, specifically with him, but not just with him, with the rest of the kids, and being part of this rising senior classes. That was my JV, my first year, a lot of them. Right. So to be able to be part of changing that mentality from when they first came in the program their freshman year and had a complete meltdown of, I don't even think they won a game. And then go 6-4, and just to witness the growth, it's been rewarding. It has, but the job's not finished. So
it reminds me of something. Years and years ago, Al McGuire, the great Al McGuire, was a longtime basketball coach at Marquette. Then he was an announcer on, I think, NBC or whatever. Tremendous. I met him personally in the coaching business. He was just a different kind of guy, but a winner. He coached his son, Allie. Allie was okay as a player, good passer, set up, nowhere near the athletes that Marquette at that time had. And I remember at a clinic, once somebody had asked him, or it might have been a press conference, Coach, you play Allie a whole lot. It seems like there's some other guys that should be getting time. Can you explain to us why he gets to play? And Al just turned and looked at me. He says, well, there's a lot of reasons I can give you, but the biggest reason is I sleep with his mother. And the crowd went berserk. End of sentence. It was done with. So every time I hear of a coach coaching their son, I don't know why that pops up in the back of my mind.
Right,
somebody ever says, well, why does that kid get to play a lot? there's a common answer you can throw out.
There's a quotable for us writers there when he says, Coach says sleeps with players.
Right. Print that.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, hey, Coach, this has been a real pleasure getting a chance to meet you virtually here through the great technology of the computer screen. All the best to you, your family, and these Clippers here in 2024 and beyond. And I'm sure we'll be connecting, hopefully after a big win on one of these Saturday mornings. So keep in touch. All the best to you, and we'll be talking down the road.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I actually love the show, so good job. So I appreciate you guys. Can't wait to come back.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you now.
Good.
Ananias Boyd, head man of the Grafton Clippers in his first season at the helm. Former Bethel Bruin standout, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's Cova Sports TV. We got to pay some bills. We got to take a time out and hear from some of the sponsors to make it possible. We'll come back with more right here.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
Well, we want to thank all of our guests today on the program, from Ananias Boyd, Noah Cologne, and Devin McGill of Ocean Lakes, Elliott Duty of Poquoson, Brandon Williams of Green Run, Booker T. Washington's Mason Williams, and Landstown's Robert Jackson, as well as Chris Scott. From Coach Ed Young, I'm Matt Hatfield. We thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV. Coming up next on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel, we've got Virginia Beach Mustangs football. We'll do it again next Saturday on the 24th of August as the countdown to football is coming up. We're almost there. Right here on your home for everything sports, local, statewide, national. It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.